Yeah, the Mirabella ones are kind of the go-to for most people.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially because they're just so cheap anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I've already just started the recording, so
Oh shit!
I,
Hello.
I like to do that. So, I will play the intro then. That is Joe Rogan. Let's not play that one. There we go. I keep doing that.
Not quite, dude.
Yeah, not quite. I really should stop using the phone to do this.
Soon.
Welcome to episode 27 of Tech Over Tea. I'm, as always, your host, Brody Robertson. And today, we have got a guest who I've been trying to bring onto the show for a while, and he's actually recording from the university right now, and is probably going to be bothering people around him while he's doing it. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Hey, to be fair, I was actually helping them before, so technically this is just, karma. Like, I help them, and then I make their lives progressively worse, you know?
Actually, if they ask a question, feel free to just answer it during the podcast.
Oh, that would be fun. Make sure you do that. We're doing VR at the moment, so it's pretty spicy.
Yeah, how's that assignment actually going?
Well, let's just say it's due next week, and
is it due next week? Is it?
Yeah, next Thursday.
Okay.
Progress is like basically some people are still modeling their rooms to some people who are just adding more objects into their scenes.
Yeah.
I do not envy any of them because none of them are done, and it could probably take them still forever. So.
Yeah, well, I'm at the point where I have just got the. Okay, so for reference, I don't think I've talked about this on the show before. Basically, what we had to do was make a haunted house in Unity, and it had to be like a VR game. So I'm at the point now where I think the only thing left I have to do is implement the breakable cobwebs.
Oh, of course you are. Like.
Oh wait, no, I also haven't made it so you can turn the torch on and off yet, but that's like a 2-minute thing.
Hey, but do you have a GUI?
No, I don't. And I don't really care about the wow factor because I don't really care about bonus credit.
No, I mean, like, the reason I'm going for the GUI is because I think it's a nicer way of handling inventory management.
Sure, yeah.
Because like one of the specifications we've got to do is we've got to have like a queue system for inventory management, and I think it's kind of hard to predict what's in the queue without having some sort of image there. So I do have the pause menu for debugging purposes.
Yeah, sure.
I've fallen in love with the XOR operator, mainly just because...
I didn't know, wait, Unity has a XOR built into it? So C# has XOR built into it?
No, C#, yeah. So C# has bitwise XOR with the caret key? So like the one with... and that, you can actually do an assignment, which is that character equals, and if the one on the right is true, it will flip the byte on the left. So it'll flip the boolean on the left. It is so useful for things which are related to input. It has made my life so much easier.
I did not know there was a XOR operator in... I keep saying Unity, in C#. I've basically only started using C# for this course. I guess I did the Agile course as well, but besides that...
Yeah, but that barely counts. That's ASP.NET MVC, so like most of that is crazy syntax.
Which at this point is old,
here's
really old.
Here's the thing about LINQ. Well, I mean, if you're talking about web forms, for sure, but MVC is like modern-ish. Though things are going the way of API controllers and synced applications. So I'm a web developer by trade, for the podcast knowledge. I only started a little while ago, but I had background in web development as well. It's pretty cool.
You're doing mainly Django work now, aren't you?
Developers. I can really... Django, did you say?
Yeah, mainly Django stuff right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're doing Python stuff. I wasn't sure what it was, though.
Our stack's basically Django, AWS, React mostly. But for our admin UIs, we use sometimes jQuery, sometimes our own JavaScript. It's a whole mess. It's an enterprise project, so you know how that goes.
Django was a weird choice for those guys, because I've looked around for Django work in Adelaide, and there's really not much. Django's probably near the bottom.
I think it's a good one to actually do large systems in, though.
Sure.
Because it handles migrations for you. It's written in Python, which is really easy to get your head around. And mind you, with large projects, I know you're laughing at Sam in the back.
Yeah.
Hey, no, please, it's fine. Oh
yeah, there's for anyone also watching the video version, some of the previous guests will be in the background from time to time. So
because we're all.
So
we're all
Sam's
friends,
off to the right there, and then is it your right? Which way is your camera reversed or not?
So Sam's my left here, and that's my left. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the right on my side.
Yeah, for you it's on the right.
And then
they've got
Corey's over to the side.
Has Corey been on your podcast?
Yeah, Corey came on last week. He was on the Mr. Robot episode.
I don't think that's right. I forgot. My brain's kind of all over the place. I just remember Ken Lee being like, "You should go on this podcast." I'm like, "I know. I've been planning to."
Yeah, it's been a while, and Kung hasn't come on yet, but I will get him on the show at some point.
Soonish. And hopefully I can have some cool things to show you guys at some point. When I become interesting, then Brady might have me on again.
Maybe. Maybe by then I'll have a better mug than this. This is just one that I found in my cupboard.
I'll buy you a damn better mug. With
I have a UniSA mug that is in the dishwasher right now. The one they give you on O-Day.
I got one from the School of ITMS, which doesn't exist anymore. So
doesn't it?
No. UniSA STEM now, dude.
All right, of course.
Yeah, university's gone for a restructure. Not that any of you would probably care, but
actually, there's one dude I know who sent me a message on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, how's this class at UniSA going?" He's like, "Can you not ask me questions like that?" And I've had someone else in the comments ask me about like a specific thing about UniSA. Like, stop, just don't ask me questions about UniSA.
I actually think I might have convinced the security guard who keeps letting me into this room to do a games and entertainment design degree. So do I get a commission or something?
I don't know. Maybe I'll ask Joe about it. But it's not a secret what uni I go to. Like, you can find my LinkedIn, but I really don't like it when people just send me DMs about like the specific school I'm going to. Like, don't do that. Stop. Like,
I mean, you got to have a private life. It's very important.
Also, you shouldn't have a LinkedIn account anyway, so I should just go and delete that at some point.
I'm just gonna actually say that. So I was working on authentication for. So I do freelance work as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on authentication with Facebook, LinkedIn, and Snapchat.
Yeah.
All of them were an ordeal.
I know you were talking about the Facebook stuff in Big Data the other day.
I was, yes. So Facebook, if you know, if you use their SDK, if you use their SDK, there is no way to avoid at all them phoning home about what page you're visiting, as well as the data on that page. So, for example, if you use their login with Facebook button, it handles the overflow for you, but you are selling your site out, basically. They do actually give you analytics as kind of like a way to say, hey, you're letting us use the data on your site, we might give you something for it. But realistically, if you're going to actually do analytics, you're going to want one which is actually scoped to analytics, like Google Analytics, because they don't share that data with their other services. It's just purely an analytical service. Because, I mean, if you think about Google's MO, right? They want you to use the web. They make money from you using the web.
Well, one of the big things
so they have no reason to.
I was going to say one of the big things that points sort of to that is early on when they were developing whatever the precursor to MapReduce was, Google's MapReduce nonsense. They could have made that proprietary and then just sold it to people, but they realized it's much more valuable for them to have everyone working with this data, and then they can get the data themselves, rather than keeping this method to handle it to themselves and then trying to sell that to people.
Yeah, I think that's there's always something in it for them, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, even with Facebook, they have their open source stuff like React and their AI stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they actually work on PyTorch as well. But
I didn't know that.
the work which people do on that, Facebook can benefit from.
Sure,
So
yeah.
if a company sees like a return on investment, they will open source.
Well, there's obviously a reason why companies like Microsoft are working on things like WSL. Like, Microsoft could obviously work for tooling just for Windows, but they know that there's a lot of value in trying to get Linux working on the Windows side to keep the developers using that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think the day that you can run Linux executables natively on Windows will be an interesting day. I don't think you'll ever be able to run them purely natively because I think they've given up on like full-on kernel integration. I think it's now just a virtualization layer.
Yeah, WSL2 is basically a very, very lightweight VM, basically, using their proprietary hypervisor nonsense.
I find it kind of a bit sad, really, that they gave up on that because I like the idea of being able to translate Linux calls into NT system calls, but I know there was like some actual incompatibilities there.
Well, they did work on something fun involving Linux compatibility. I don't know how much you know about WSL, but
I know its predecessor as well. They actually had POSIX interop, but that was awful.
But there were some people who were kind of hacking together to get graphical applications working in WSL. They'd be running an X server inside WSL. Not a good idea. Yeah. It ran horribly. So in WSL 2, as of last year, Microsoft is like, hey, we're going to work on Wayland support. So they're going to...
Wow.
And it actually already works. So you can run these graphical applications that have Wayland support actually inside of WSL 2. Which is that is absolutely really insane. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, X, I think, deserves to die.
The only reason I use X is because the tooling on Wayland isn't very good right now.
Yeah, it's still very new. But, I mean, X, there was this... So, I find it really bad when I reference things and I can't show people.
Mm-hmm. If you have any links you need to show me anything?
I don't actually have the link on hand.
Okay.
But actually, I might give it a look because I've got time. So, like, just to describe, so Xorg actually has like a configuration file, and it's just the Borg basically. It just has everything in there, and because it has everything in there, it's just known to be completely unmanageable. Like, it's actually precisely the reason why X should be deprecated in my rationale. Mainly just because it's modules after modules after modules, and it is like so very much stuck in the 90s with how it was architected.
Yep.
That it needs to die, god damn it.
It's lots of fun.
Nothing has aged as badly as the X server.
I try to avoid working with Xorg stuff as much as possible, but you kind of have to deal with it. Luckily now, because of how mature X is at this point, there's a lot of tools that basically automate the configuration process.
I just sent you the
I already found this one. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if this was the one you wanted to show.
It was the general satisfaction with my life.
There we go. I have the technology to show pictures on the screen. Here we go.
Oh, you do?
So if anyone listening to the audio version...
you're using...
I'm using OBS right now.
Nice.
For anyone listening to the audio version, there is a graph. On the left side, it says general satisfaction with how my life is going. And as that goes up, on the bottom, it's time since I last had to open the xorg.conf. And as basically the time since the person has had to last open xorg.conf, the more that they've been enjoying their life, because it is disgusting to work with. Not only that, but also just the fact that it's all in separate files. It's not like here's one big xorg.conf. obviously there is that, but then there's also other stuff alongside that also you can configure, and it's just if there's a tool that automates it, just use the tool.
Imagine having to change your display manager. It's something I've had to do, and I've gotten it wrong before. And
don't
then
use display managers. Just don't.
I mean, you kind of have to sometimes.
I'll log into a black screen.
Oh, of course you do.
I have a...
You're so extra.
3 lines in my ZSHRC that when I log in, it automatically opens up my window manager.
Not a bad idea. Like I think that's like the good way of doing things.
Yeah. It's how most people end up doing it on Arch if they're not running like a desktop environment, just because it's... You're going to see it for a couple of seconds. You might as well just take the absolute easiest approach.
What's great to see with like Arch newbies is how stuck they get with the manual partitioning.
There's tools that make it easier. You don't have to use like fdisk. There is like cfdisk, but I like even with the cursors one, like the one which actually has like a borderline text-based GUI, people still get stuck on that. And I'm just like, I love this so much. It's like you actually have to learn about the low-level features of a file system in order to actually do things. The problem you're also going to have a lot of the time now is a lot of the videos that exist were made for BIOS systems. And if you're trying to run UEFI, and you try to, like, I don't know, not use a GPT partition, you will have lots of problems.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know how many people who've installed a MBR-based version of an operating system or tried to boot an MBR-based version of an operating system, only to find out that no bootable medium's found because you don't have CSM.
Luckily, all of this stuff is fairly well documented, at least in the case of Arch. Don't know about other distros. I hear the Gentoo wiki's good, but...
Yeah, you shouldn't be using CSM anyway nowadays, like realistically. If you've got a new install, always use GPT and EFI. Always. It's just so much nicer.
It's a bit of a pain in the ass if you're running Grub, but that's the only thing you can be difficult with. But a lot of people say just stop using Grub anyway and use like system deboot.
I like Grub because it's at least configurable.
It's the least configurable, so you like it. All right then.
Well, it's at least configurable. At least.
Oh, it's at least. I said least configurable. Yeah, at least configurable. That's fair.
Whereas system deboot just boots, doesn't it? Like, I don't think you can really do anything too special. It might run Plymouth, but
I know you can mess with your frame buffer size to change your resolution, but I don't know about doing things like Grub themes like you could with Grub, obviously.
Yeah, but because
someone actually asked me to look at Plymouth recently. I was like, oh yeah, that actually sounds kind of neat.
Plymouth's pretty cool. So for the podcast, I guess, you know those beautiful little boot screens, which you get when you log in. Well, you start up a system like Ubuntu or Fedora. That's Plymouth. Plymouth does that boot animation. It is sick, and I love it to bits, even though it is a bit of a pain.
Or if you think of something, I know there's a couple. I don't know why. There's a couple of people in this channel who, at least on the main channel, who use Windows, and a couple on macOS as well. I know there's one guy who mains macOS.
There's one guy,
but like you know how. Does Mac still do it when you're like logging, or when you're starting up the system? There'll be like a little spinny thing just before you log in, get to log in, or is that not a thing anymore?
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat that? You cut out for a sec.
The fucking uni connection is being shit. All right.
Oh yeah.
On macOS, when you just before you log in, is there still like a spinny screen while stuff's still loading up?
Oh no. So like they ditched that a while ago.
This is how long it's been since I used macOS.
Yeah, so they now have like a loading bar, which...
Yeah, well, you can do the same thing in Plymouth as well. That's the point I was getting at. There's some sort of screen before you get to your display manager, which I still think is a terrible name.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense as a display manager in the sense that it manages the frame buffers on each display.
Okay, so think about
and then
it like
you have
that,
a window manager, which... Yeah. But mind you, I don't actually think. I've always had problems with how macOS handles Windows.
Sure.
Not like Windows is in the operating system.
Mm-hmm.
To clarify, I'm pretty sure everyone got that. But when you unplug a display, or you and you open up your laptop, and if you plug in the display again, it shifts the windows randomly. So like it doesn't have any sort of port memory. Like I think most operating systems would be hard to implement, but just remembering where things are would be kind of useful, you know?
Well,
even when you restart things.
The way that a lot of window managers tend to avoid that on Linux is you'll remember where stuff goes on the actual desktop. So if you, say, put stuff on, desktop 8, and then desktop 8 goes to the second monitor, it'll stay in the same place on that desktop, but it'll just be moved to the other monitor.
I think it's a bit more difficult with macOS because they've got some like system-specific quirks with how they handle multiple desktops. So each display has their own instance of virtual desktops. So you could have desktops 1 to 16 on one. You could have desktops 1 to 16 on another monitor, and then desktops 1 to 16 on another monitor.
Right. Okay.
So it's probably a hard architecture to work with. Mind you, speaking of Apple,
if anyone's wondering what I'm eating, I've got a bowl of grapes here.
Oh, sick. Cool.
So I might eat these throughout the episode.
What's your opinion on this whole Epic scandal with like Epic shooting themselves in their own fucking...
No, I absolutely love it. Epic's doing an amazing job here. They knew exactly what they were getting into.
They did, though. And like literally, there's been a release from the judge saying like, yeah, we're not putting Fortnite back on because you literally plan to do this, but we will protect Unreal, at least for now.
So if anyone is somehow... Actually, I'm going to find information on this. If anyone is somehow completely like out of the loop and doesn't know what's happening here, basically, Epic is the company behind little-known games like Fortnite. You may have heard of it. I don't know. And basically what happened is Apple's got this this policy where you can't sell, I guess, products without going through the Apple Store. And what Epic decided to do was like, hey, we don't give a shit. We're just going to do it anyway. And then about 2 hours after Apple banned them from the App Store, they had a lawsuit ready to go, and it was like 50 pages long. And obviously, they were planning this because no one can write 50 pages of legal documentation in 2 hours. So they had set this up entirely for the purpose of actually, starting up a lawsuit. And Epic also is the developer of the Unreal Engine. Now, the Unreal Engine, if you don't know, it's sort of up there at the same level of use as like Unity, so it's kind of important. So
I'd actually say Unreal's more popular. I think it's got a larger
definitely.
market share. At least in the larger... Well, even AAA studios use it nowadays.
Yeah. And basically what happened is Epic is still banned from the store. They are taking Apple to court. Also, Microsoft is joining Epic's side, and I know exactly why they're doing that. Well,
I'm just going to clarify that they are backing them in keeping Unreal Engine available. They are not, as Microsoft, as one of the parties which also charges fees for their own stores, is not defending their other points. The paper was just written poorly.
Okay.
Classic lawyers, right?
Do you know... Okay, it's really fucking obvious why Epic's doing this. It's like they wouldn't be stupid enough to do this for any other reason. They want to get the Epic Store onto iOS.
They actually sent emails to Apple's teams, basically specifying this, and that actually got leaked to the public. So,
everyone knew exactly what they were doing. The second this happened, they're trying to get the Epic Store on iOS. And you know what? I know Epic's doing this entirely for their own reason, but I am entirely in favor of Epic in this respect because it will actually be better for the consumer to have more than just the Apple Store available.
I agree that while in theory, they should be able to have a store on the platform. But I don't agree with the way they went about it. Because, I mean...
Well, they went about it in a very heavy-handed way, for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, so, like, I'm just going to say, like, they're not really going to make any friends in Apple for a while. Let's just say... Well, I mean, if you want them to open up their platform, this is not the way to do that. Because
I don't know if there's any other way you could, though. That's the thing.
That's the thing. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's not like alternative stores aren't a thing on iOS. It's just one of them is either Cydia, which you have to jailbreak for. There's also the piracy ones, which tend to use dodgy signatures, as well as like the enterprise way of loading things on. So, I mean, everything else is considered high risk at the moment. And I don't see Apple opening up their API for installing apps anytime soon either.
I think the only way you can
nor do I think they'd want to.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. That's the thing.
But I think the only thing they've really achieved here is a hit in their own revenue.
Okay, we'll have to see how the lawsuit actually plays out, because if this does go in Epic's favor, which is possible, because there's definitely an argument to be made that Apple is running a monopoly here. It is possible that Epic wins, and if they do, that also means that I say like Valve could start up a store on iOS, or whoever else wants. Amazon could.
My only concern here on Epic's side of this equation is that, firstly, I'm just going to clarify. I think both Apple and Epic are both terrible companies. I mean, I like Apple products.
You say this while wearing your AirPods and recording from your MacBook.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like their stuff, but I don't think. Well, I mean, it's really your thing. Like, if you like their stuff, you're still going to buy their stuff, right? You make that choice as a consumer.
Well, yeah,
you just might not like the actions the company takes, right?
No one's going to stop playing Fortnite because of this, and no one's going to stop using Apple products because of this.
Exactly. So, like, I mean, there's now like a black market of iPhones with Fortnite on them. So,
well, I found this article from The Verge here.
Scalpers, actual scalpers.
I found this article from The Verge. So it seems, I'll actually send you a link to it. It seems like the game still exists on iOS, but you can't.
You can't remove it if it's uninstalled, like if it's already installed. But
new players can't download it. So
yeah.
What's going to happen is basically Fortnite is splitting into two separate games because of this lawsuit. So you've got the Apple version, which isn't going to get updates, and then the rest of the versions, basically.
I mean, so Apple has basically said that the moment that Epic reverts this code, they can go back on the App Store. And I suppose you could still have the lawsuit still be pending, given those circumstances. So I can just see Epic just reverting the code here and stepping down for now on that front and just pursuing them in court.
It's possible, but
I mean, there's too much collateral damage if they get rid of Unreal, because Unreal's used everywhere.
Well, I don't know how reliant they are. Obviously, Unreal is a big deal, but I don't know how reliant they actually are on Fortnite itself. Unreal probably is a much bigger revenue stream for them.
Yeah, so I know that Fortnite iOS is 10% of Fortnite's revenue. So, mind you, so I can see Epic definitely prioritizing Unreal because they get royalties over a certain margin.
Mm-hmm.
So if I remember, the payment structure for both of the two major commercial engines, Unity Technologies is you have to have a pro license if you're earning over $100,000.
That sounds right. $100K. Yeah, I think that's right.
It's 100,000 US as an organization or an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And Unreal is royalties per dollar earned. So I'm pretty sure. So you can. I don't think the royalty system is rather ethical, but I think they're. It's just like it's. But I think Tim Sweeney's a bit of a snake. Okay, because straight up, he's gone against people putting ads on top of their competitors' products, right?
Mm-hmm.
You proceed to search Unity on Google, and what do you see? Ads for Unreal Engine. So, an absolute snake.
I don't know too much about Tim Sweeney myself, so I can't really comment on that.
We have a savior complex. Don't forget the savior complex. Because, I'm saving the games industry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So,
I don't believe anyone with God complex.
So I don't know how this lawsuit's going to go down. I hope that Epic wins. That would be the best outcome for the consumer. Whether they win or not, I have no clue. I'm not a lawyer.
I don't think that win. I don't think they win. I don't think they're.
I think it's going to depend on who has deeper pockets at this point. And I don't know who has deeper pockets, to be honest. They both have a lot of money.
I'm just going to say Apple's worth $2 trillion.
Yeah,
Apple has deeper pockets.
It depends on how much they want to spend on this, though, or whether it's cheaper for them to be like, you know what, fuck it.
I mean, the App Store is worth a lot of money to them, so they'll fight this tooth and nail.
We'll see how it goes. Basically, hopefully, Epic wins. Maybe not. So
yeah, my position on it. I'm gonna stay neutral. Because I see the benefits in Apple controlling things in security reasons, because if you could have some rogue stores with less stringent policies, but you can also make the argument that Apple is overcharging, which is, let's face it, they are. Yeah, it's complicated.
Well, we did mention Facebook earlier, and I'm sure you heard about this one as well.
What's this one?
So it's about the way that Facebook is changing how Oculus logins are going to work.
Oh yeah, I had to do that. That's cool, normal, and exciting, right?
Anyone who missed the news a week or so back, Facebook being the owners of Oculus now, where everyone was like, this is gonna go really badly, and then it went fine for a couple of years, and now it's going really badly. So Facebook is forcing they're forcing new Oculus owners, so existing owners of a device with an existing account won't have to do this for now. But new owners,
quite true.
They changed
really that. Migrate. They changed it, but they are really pushing you to migrate, and they're using dark patterns to make you do so.
Okay, so what's happening is Oculus is forcing, we'll say Facebook. Facebook is forcing Oculus owners to log into their accounts with a Facebook login. So they're basically just forcing you to use Facebook single sign-on. So you don't have a Facebook account, can't use your Oculus.
Yeah, becomes kind of a bit of paperweight. I think you can get to, you might be able to, actually, no, you can't, because you do need to use the Oculus app to actually set up your Quest. So
unless
it becomes basically a paperweight.
Yeah. Fund HTC, I guess. That's my only answer to this.
Buy Valve Index, even though you can't get them in Australia.
Yeah, well, I haven't looked too much at the Index. I hear the Index is pretty good as well, but I really wish that Oculus wasn't making good devices. Then we could just forget about them. But the Quest is an absolutely amazing headset.
Oh, I love it so much. I mean, What are you going to use? Windows Mixed Reality? You actually are. I know you.
I'm borrowing it from the uni.
Dude.
Sorry?
How's the controls?
They suck dude? Ass. So when I hold this like this, it's like jittering like this on the screen. So it's not fun. It sucks, and I'm only using it for the until I have to give it back to the uni, and then I'm never touching it again.
Well, I mean, not all Windows Mixed Reality devices are bad. There's some really good ones.
Yeah, of course.
And like even so, like the HoloLens runs the Mixed Reality OS as well.
Okay, these two cameras here. This is how it tracks the hands. These two little things. Nothing else. There's no other cameras, just these two.
Hold on, just give me a second. I'll get my Quest.
Or just get anything else in that room. Like, if you look...
Yeah, literally.
Up on the left side, you have a...
It's the VR lab, so...
Yeah, there's a Vive tracker lighthouse behind his head.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah. And up to your right, I guess it would be, there's a lighthouse behind you.
I can't even get the...
Yeah, up there. Lighthouse.
There we go.
For the HC Vive.
And there's also another one.
Yes.
There's also another one up here. Not that I really should be moving my laptop as a camera. She'll
be right.
It's an attempt.
And
I haven't dropped it yet.
There's probably...
Give it a week.
Oh, there's also a Vive directly behind you as well.
Yeah, so that actually is the there's like a Vive there. Yeah. You should study at uni.
Yeah, there's and develop the one game that's ever actually come out of that course. That's the pictures all around the room.
Made by someone, funnily enough, by someone I know. So he's pretty cool.
That game gets shown off at AvCon every year, and it doesn't seem like it's ever made any progress.
Well, I mean, he stopped developing at us, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think...
So the uni just keeps showing it off?
I don't know. Yeah, because it actually looks good, and he was like really good at 3D modeling. So
last year, when I was there,
I highly doubt.
Sorry, I go. You're saying I'll go.
And he's really good at 3D modeling. But what were you going to say?
What
were you going to say?
I dropped the grade. Last year when I was at AvCon, the person running the stand there didn't like me because I was trying to break the game. I spotted a place where you could jump up along one of the walls, and I tried to jump out of the map.
Oh, that's cool. Come on.
You compare that with...
who was there? Would I know them?
No, it maybe. It wasn't like Adam or Doug. Both of them are cool with it, but... I don't know, some woman there.
I just tend to know people at the uni.
Yeah, but this is how I can compare it with... or tell the difference between the uni and an actual indie game development company. Because I went around to everyone's stand doing the exact same thing, trying to break their games. And the actual indie devs, they're like, I didn't know that was a problem. I'm going to write that down. And then the uni was like, stop doing that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, if the student who actually wrote it was there, they would be like, oh, you can clip through that?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to patch that hole in the mesh or something like that.
Yeah.
But I suppose like an outsider would say, you're trying to break the game my organization made, right?
Yeah.
Rather than being like, this is a bug to be fixed. Like it's a developer mindset versus like the random person mindset.
Well, yeah, the uni's there to try to recruit people to the uni. The devs are there to get feedback.
It's marketing department, right? You know?
I think what happened...
borderline marketing.
I think what was happening was there was instead of using a box collider on the wall on the outside, it was a mesh collider, and there was some lips along the mountain. So you could sort of glitch onto the lips.
Yeah, I mean, mesh colliders aren't perfect anyway.
Yeah. But at that point, I would be using a box collider. Like, there's no point having a mesh collider go up the entire mountain.
I remember when I was at AIE and we were tasked with doing basically the tanks tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
the meshes provided by Unity Technologies actually had holes in them, so you could actually clip your tank through the walls with enough pressure. It was a great time because your tank would then become indestructible, and yet because it's a mesh collider, you could fire in perfectly fine. You just couldn't fire out. It was perfect. You win at life.
So you went to AIE before you were at UniSA, did you? Or was that just for like an open day? Okay.
Yeah, I did a cert free there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I had a couple of mates from from high school who did the same thing. But I don't know why I didn't. I really should have done that course, but for whatever reason, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I think because I was lazy.
Well, I mean, it would have been good to see you there.
Yeah. So, well, it would have been fun as well, looking back on it.
Who's this person? Yeah, I mean, uni's been fun.
Yeah, uni has been fun.
Even though, like, now I'm just like, let me leave. I think that's the appropriate reaction after, like, what, 3.5 years?
Something like that, yeah. It has been that long, hasn't it? How long's left? What was it now, week 5?
Theoretically, I'm supposed to be finishing this semester, but it's not going to happen. I've got
how long until this semester is over then? Is it
probably about 10 weeks?
Yeah, okay, I thought it was.
If you include like
the break,
exam period as well, maybe.
I don't have an exam.
No, exam periods. No, exam periods like would be 17 weeks. Yeah, because I forgot mid-semester break. That's right.
Oh, that's gross. It takes you like into December if you have exams.
Yeah. Frustrating. But yeah, uni's been like one of the most eventful, stressful times of my life, but I would not have changed anything for the world. Like, I got to go to Sydney in my first year.
Oh, nice.
How sick was that?
That actually does it.
Like, spooky-ass robot.
Oh, right. No, you were doing, you're working with Adam on his stuff back then, weren't you?
Yeah. Do you actually want to see a photo of the creepy-ass robot?
If you can bring me a photo?
Oh, absolutely. It is so bad.
So, if I remember correctly, it was some sort of robotics challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah, we, so, like, this was before any of us knew fuck all about AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was very rudimentary. Mind you, we actually had to throw together... Okay, I'll tell you about the architecture of this robot while I'm pulling up the image. You had this robot which uses ROS, which is fine because it's like actually designed for robotics, right? But you'd think it was fine, but then you actually have to program for it. So moving is a pain. Working with the Kinect was a pain because the cameras in the eyes were absolutely terrible. So I'll just send this. The display in the front of the torso was a HTML5 browser. So in order to actually have interaction on there, you had to have like a client-server architecture with your app. It was not fun. So like we basically had like a word store which we would pull from. We'd have the client application which would use the Kinect, send it to the server, pull it back onto the screen. And the one thing we never got working, but we were still programming the app when we were walking up there. That's how bad things were. We had like no time to finish it. We were programming the app while we were up there. I was holding my laptop.
Jesus Christ.
We'd also got very drunk the night before, so it was like very hungover.
Is that is it just a coincidence, or does that look like or is that actually like a Commonwealth Bank logo on the robot?
It is. It was a Commonwealth Bank thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it just looked similar or it was just actually sponsored or something.
Yeah, it was. So it was a project for them.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
They were running it with UTS and the ATN, which our uni's part of. But and then like there was the club stuff. Yeah. And I'm glad that's where I met you. So
no, we met before the club. We met during open day.
That's right. Shit, we ran into each other. Where
I met
was
you
that?
through Sam.
Yeah.
Who's off to the side. Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah, I met you both of you on open day because I wanted to know where to get my my ID from.
Right? Oh, ID. That was right. It was either textbooks or ID. Someone was textbooks.
No,
I was getting textbooks actually.
I was smart enough to know where to get my textbooks from. I just knew how to download stuff online.
Then you download legally? Yeah.
How much did you spend on your textbooks until you realized they were useless? Like, how long did it take you? How many thousands of dollars?
No comment.
How many AirPods?
Say it was like, I'm just gonna say like one of my laptops, and it was my cheapest laptop. So
yeah, that's
because
God, that.
Let me tell you how many laptops I've gone through while I was at uni through like being slightly cursed. So there was the first one. Well, actually, technically, my high school Mac died at the start, but like a little bit before uni, so I'm going to do half for that one. I'll do that at the end though. So my first one, a key fell off. I sent it to Lenovo. They couldn't repair it. They gave me a replacement. That one fell off the counter. Then I got another one which just stopped working, and now I've got my MacBook. Jesus so 4.5 laptops.
That's fucking dumb. I had my MacBook Pro until like second year, and then I got the Swift 3, and then that's been fine since then.
Lucky bitch.
And now I'm just doing everything from a desktop anyway, so...
I'm actually cursed with technology, though.
Yeah, I don't know how you managed to lose that many.
I'm just hope that this one lasts, because like this is the most expensive thing I've ever bought in my life. So
yeah, hopefully your MacBook Pro lasts a while, and it doesn't have like some horrible design fault like some models have.
Yeah, the fans actually work in this one. Louis Rossmann would be proud. Actually, no, he wouldn't. Everything's soldered down. I saw an iFixit like video of it being torn down and like everything soldered. So like, if I have to repair anything, good luck. Just give me a new MacBook.
I don't watch that much Louis Rossmann, but I would check in on his channel occasionally because I don't know, it's just fun watching him tear something apart. Like sometimes something will show up in my recommended. Like there was a video a while back where someone was told that it was going to cost them, I think, $600 to replace the motherboard in their MacBook, and the one problem was there was like this one point that was just like the solder had broken off, and like we're going to replace it. Like,
sounds about right.
No, don't do that. Just send it to anyone else.
I mean, that's just like
the Apple way.
That's just like when you charge like 1.5 grand to just click 3 buttons. That happens sometimes.
Apple's business model is just buy a new device, basically, at this point.
Well, I mean, I've still got my iPhone XS, but I'm thinking about... No, I should not. I should not. They've got enough of my money.
Just buy your phone from your Chinese overlords. This is a Realme 5.
They do actually make some good phones. Is that Xiaomi or...
It's a Oppo-made phone.
Yeah, because I know there's like 2 big ones. There's Xiaomi and Oppo.
Yeah.
Actually, do Xiaomi even sell in Australia, or do you have to get them imported? And there's also Huawei. Can't forget Huawei.
Yeah.
They're getting like destroyed by the US government.
There's so many companies that have ties to the Chinese government that if the US really wanted to and went after them, like there's like, okay, how long until League of Legends gets banned?
Yeah, because Riot's what percentage of Riot is owned? Is it Tencent?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be Tencent.
There's a lot of companies that are owned by Tencent, or a good portion of their company is owned by Tencent.
Yeah, that company's like the Borg, I swear. They even have two chat clients. They're just as bad as Facebook. It
seems like you can get Xiaomi devices they're being sold on Kogan, so I presume there's no problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd see no problems in Australia, but maybe the US, because the US is weird and American.
Well,
but
did you hear? Wait, I presume you did hear about the solution to keeping TikTok available in like for US operations. It was going to be Microsoft was considering purchasing it.
And there's also so the suitors include Microsoft, Oracle.
Wait, Oracle?
Yeah, really. Oracle's literally putting.
Since when has Oracle been interested in social media?
They're Oracle. They just don't want Microsoft to have it.
That's
Have you
fair,
heard
okay.
of like Larry Ellison's MO? He just hates Microsoft. That's his entire business model. Hating Microsoft.
Sure, okay. Oracle's considering buying TikTok anyway.
You learned something new today.
Who else is on the list?
And ByteDance has put out some some data, basically specifying that all of their data is held externally to China, but which was related to the filings from MacLeod when that was acquired a while ago. But it's questionable whether you trust ByteDance.
I know that wait, who owns Instagram? Is it Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
I know they would have they would have no interest in buying TikTok because they're just making it again inside of Instagram.
They just clone it. They literally just clone it. Like they made Reels the day TikTok started to look not viable because that's what Facebook does.
Well, Instagram has Instagram Stories to kill Snapchat. Then you have Reels to kill TikTok. Like they have no interest in buying other companies. They just destroy it themselves.
Well, I mean, they don't do it successfully though. Like, who uses Reels?
Fair.
Yes. Watch. I'm gonna have to eat my words.
Stories is really popular.
Yeah.
Like
Stories is, but that's mostly thanks to companies using it because like they tend to be the first adopters.
Also, Instagram TV is doing fairly well.
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, you were saying, sorry? Businesses.
Stories. I don't even remember.
Something about businesses.
Businesses are basically the first people to use it because they see that as an opportunity to engage with people a lot easier. So like you'll see influencers, quote unquote, and businesses.
I really don't like the word influencer.
I hate it too. That's why I put quote unquote. So like, what are you influencing?
Well, no, my problem with influencer is it makes you sound like you have no talent whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna wear wear this handbag so people will buy this fucking handbag.
Like, I don't like YouTuber either because YouTuber kind of ties you to one platform. Like content creator, content producer, things like that works fine. But influencer's like, okay, well, a Big Brother contestant's also an influencer. Like a Bachelor contestant is an influencer. Like, what do you actually do with yourself?
I want that term to become derogatory. I think it borderline has.
Yeah, I hope it does. It kind of has in some circles, but among the people who happily use it, it's still perfectly fine.
I'm an influencer.
Yeah, no, I fucking hate the term.
It's a toxic culture too, because they, like, you have these people who are screaming at these businesses for not giving them free shit. Literally, it just screams of entitlement because, say you work out or something, right? Like, and that's why people like you're one of those first trap Instagrams or something like that. People aren't following you so they can like get you to sell them stuff. They're following you because you're a damn first trap.
Most of my Instagram accounts I follow are like, so I follow The Rock because he's a fucking madman. Like he'll talk.
He is.
Okay, so The Rock's Instagram account is, I'm lifting really heavy shit and being like an absolute maniac. Here's my whiskey company, and here are my children. That's his entire Instagram.
To be honest, I want that to that is just like Instagram goals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just giving zero shits. Look at this. This is my life. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
But also, another one that I actually am really enjoying a lot of his content is Cameron Haynes. He is a bow hunter, and Instagram doesn't like him at all because he likes to upload videos where he
is it the bow?
No, he likes to upload videos where he's skinning some of the things that he's killed, and Instagram is not a fan.
It's just like the Instagram police for like slight nudity, when it's like the nudity is up too high, or when there's like a little bit too much blood or a little bit too much drug use.
But another good one is David Goggins, who likes to run shirtless in like 400-degree heat and call people a motherfucker.
That sounds amazing. I think I might actually have to follow that one.
He's a ex-Navy SEAL who's just every day he goes for a run. Like, doesn't matter how hot, how wet it is, every day.
That level of persistence is amazing to me. I suppose like the influencers, I hate it. I still hate it. I kind of admire are the ones who are actually building something for themselves. You know what I mean? They aren't selling other people's shit. They're trying to say, hey, I've started X and Y venture or something like that, right? Would you like to support this?
Sure.
And it feels more honest when you're selling for yourself, you know?
Sure. That's why I think that influencer is a kind of meaningless term, because you could say, hey, you put like a comedian in that category, and you could also put someone who is building up their own, I don't know, tech business, for example. And like they could both be producing that content online, and you could consider both of them to be an influencer, but the influencer term itself doesn't really say much about what the person is actually doing.
Yeah. I suppose like it really just varies on the person whether I find you absolutely reprehensible or not. Because I was actually like there was this one there was these group of Instagram people who actually were okay with selling their followers cyanide. So because they got pranked. They got pranked real hard. So they got approached by someone who set up like a fake marketing thing, which they didn't even read the bottle. They didn't use it. Sell it to the followers. They were happy with selling their followers cyanide. It was great.
Jesus Christ.
It's a good meme. I'd totally do that. I feel like I should do that. Not literally, like not selling followers, like a prank on those people. Like, I'm a marketing agency.
Well, there was I can't remember what his name was, but he's been known for fucking with people a lot, and he's decided to start up a fake hand cream brand because he wanted to see if he could get quote-unquote Instagram influencers to start selling his shit on Instagram. And it wasn't a real product at all. So what he did was he like put some accents in his name to make it sound like a French name, because they recognize who he was because he's fucked with them before. So he was just like, I'm going to put accents in my name so you're not going to know who it is. And he sends it to them, and he managed to get a couple of responses from some like, they were like, it was mainly just like, what's the one I'm thinking of? Reality TV show guests, or reality TV show contestants. And it was fucking hilarious. I'll see if I can find it afterwards. I can't remember exactly the guy's name who did it, but it was honestly amazing when I saw that, because they would just happily read it out on their stories and like, yes, here's this thing that I'm trying to sell. It's just like, you have no idea. You didn't read anything, did you?
No, yeah, they never do. It's just all about the money to them. And I mean, I can honestly understand wanting to make money, right? Most people do. But making money at like the expense of your integrity, I suppose. I mean, you can issue your integrity if you want, but like, if you're representing yourself, you're just going to drag yourself through the mud. Like, if you're an organization, you've got that defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it wasn't my idea. I just pass it down the line. But you're representing yourself.
Yeah. Well,
you don't get your credibility back.
Luckily, with a lot of these people, they don't really have their reputation isn't really what sells anything they do. It's sort of just how attractive they are.
Yeah, it's like, I'm cute, buy me things.
Pretty much.
Oh, actually, no, that's Simps.
I love the simp thing because it's so different in the sort of sphere I sit on, like on the internet. Because on Twitch, obviously, the simp thing is like, oh, stop simping, and then, but go over to the VTuber sphere, and everyone is a simp, and no one cares. It's like, yes, I'm simping for you. It's okay. For anyone who doesn't know what a VTuber is, you need to experience VTubers. So a VTuber is a virtual YouTuber. Basically, it's someone who usually gets like an anime avatar and then just, makes videos like that. And this sphere usually exists on YouTube. And yeah, people just donate hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm going to show you a hilarious chart. Let's see if I can find it, because okay, so this actually has to do with VTubers. It has to do with who the channels that get the most super chats on YouTube. And you'll be surprised, like very surprised.
All right, let's see it.
That's no, last month, not the last year. Okay, yep, Coco is still
I'm a little afraid to see this.
Okay, I don't think I've shown this on the podcast before. Okay, so number one for the most super chats in the past month is Coco. Number 2 is Lucia. Number 3 is Kanata. Number 4 is Pekora. Number 5 is Marin. Number 6 is Tim Paul. I love that Tim Paul is just in this list of anime girls.
One of these things is not Latvia. One of these things just doesn't belong. Sorry, I had to.
And yeah, then after Tim Paul, we're back to anime girls. It's like, here's Watame, here's Matsuri, here's Kanae. It's just like, what is this fucking list?
I mean, of course, I don't tend to write, but it's just so funny to see him just around.
I know. This just doesn't make any sense. But also, $100,000 last month.
Can I just I want to push a conspiracy theory that Tim Pool is secretly a VTuber. Because he's just in the group of VTubers. He has to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next time you actually get someone who isn't... sorry?
How long until we can get, Tim Pool as an anime girl?
I guarantee someone's done it.
I just want to see that. I don't even care that I disagree with him, most of the time. I just want to see that. It would be hilarious. It would make my day. It would make my year.
I don't know how this... Okay, I don't know how he manages to get this high on the list. And no one else does. It's just I
don't know.
I get the people, simping for the VTubers, but why the hell is Tim Paul so high on this list?
Obviously, he has Sims too.
Absolutely. I guess people love the beanie. They want to know what his hair's like. Maybe if they pay him enough money, they'll see his hair eventually. To be fair, we don't even know if he has hair.
If I pay... So he's just if I pay $10,000, can I get a follicle of your hair?
I don't think we have
imagining that level of simping.
I don't think we have proof that Tim Paul has a scalp, so there is no proof.
Just looking at me because it does not get the context at all. No, it doesn't.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my god.
It's fine, he's been making entertaining content for the back of the video from time to time, just rolling by. There he goes again. Didn't even hear us this time.
So, I suppose moving on to other stuff, what do you think of .NET?
I actually haven't been looking too much into this. You were mentioning it the other day. I know that everything's basically moving over to Core, and that hopefully means better Linux support. Maybe.
Now, here's the cool thing. They're dropping the word Core.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're following Microsoft signaling here,
mm-hmm.
Framework's no longer being developed. It's just going to have security patches. So it's being developed, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Core is version 5 for both streams, basically. Right. If you want any support forward, you use .NET 5. I don't even know if it's released yet. I want to actually confirm that for you, because 5 brings a lot of features. It's really cool, actually.
I've got the blog post introducing 5, but this is from a year ago.
Yeah, so it was introducing it. Yeah, it's been released now, I think.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no, preview 8. So it's soon.
Okay. Because what I'm seeing on this list here is basically, everything's going to be some unified .NET system, rather than having your separate, here's the website, here's this side, here's this, here's that. Because the problem that earlier versions of .NET had is there was, just on the website, for example, there was too much going on. It's like you had Razor, you had ASP.NET, you had web forms, you had a bunch of other things as well. It's like, why is all this still here?
You also had to worry about whether you wanted to support Framework or Core, because they weren't really
yes.
They weren't really source to source compatible, you know. I mean, they tried, but they didn't really do it. Like C# is still the same C#, but the standard library was different.
Yeah.
.NET Core had a different version of ASP, and questionably better. I think you can even still do VB on it, so that's a little cursed.
So I'm looking at the...
Yeah.
Did you say .NET is out now, or is it still not out yet?
It's 5 preview 8, so
okay.
It should be out soon.
Because on this chart, it's saying it's supposed to come out in November.
Yeah, so soon. Like a couple months, tops.
But,
and it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Good times to learn it.
As much as I don't want to see another GUI framework on Linux, maybe it would be cool to have like forms over on the Linux side as well. Maybe.
I'm not actually sure. Like, they should have a changelog. Let me just quickly
see if I can find something.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I could do forms on macOS at least. And I think that was Core 4, I think supported that, or Core 3. Yeah, so, but point is that, yeah, it's cross-platform GUI using Windows tooling is coming, which, I mean, even with Xamarin, you already had it.
Yeah.
So,
and hopefully the Unity side gets better on Linux then. That would be nice.
Yeah, the good news is, so someone's been maintaining Unity install stuff for Linux for quite a while. Whether they'll get Unity Hub there ever is a different thing, but you can always use Unity builds on Linux nowadays.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I have used like a version of Linux, version of Unity on Linux. It was usable, but the problem we have on Linux is tooling. Like, we don't have the .NET tooling available. You can, like, there are things you can do. You can access like the language server being used in VS Code.
VS Code.
VS Code is all you really have, though. You don't really have like GUI development toolkits or anything like that. It's just VS Code and the language server.
Well, I mean, the good thing about how Unity's gone now is that you've got like this package. So a lot of that stuff you can actually handle in Unity's UIs. Neat, right?
Yeah.
So you've kind of got with code and Unity, you've got enough to work with.
But I was talking more on the.
I don't think you could do VR development on them.
I was talking more on like the web side.
More on just
like we don't really have proper tooling on that side. Unity works well enough.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's good enough. Yeah, I kind of happen to agree with you on that because you've got Entity Framework, but you can't use some of the features. Like you can't use their, what is it called? They have this like model which you can actually modify graphically on Visual Studio, like the big Visual Studio.
Yeah.
Which you can't do on code. Mind you, with Umlet now being supported in VS Code, hopefully things like that can come along because like you can actually implement. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's a new one, isn't it?
Wait, what?
You can actually run Umlet, and yeah, it's actually really new. Umlet is now supported in VS Code. You can actually have a window and do UML diagramming in VS Code.
That's odd.
Yeah, you can do so. Like, you obviously can do complex UIs in a web view, probably. So, like, that'd be the way to go if they want to do that sort of stuff. Because I mean, it's just an Electron app.
Basically, yeah.
So you're basically just running a Chrome process. Just a really, really big Chrome process.
Well, we're already doing this on Discord, so hey, it's already on a big Chrome process.
Yeah, while you're at it, you should use Hyper because, like, you should run your terminal in a Chrome process.
Hyper, that sounds familiar.
It's a terminal written in
Electron. I think I know which one you're talking about.
It feels slightly cursed to run something which should be theoretically so lightweight in
Hyperterm. Oh yeah, I have seen this one. I was going to do a video on it a while ago, and just never got around to it. And I want to do it. I want to do it so then people bully me in the comment section.
Oh wow, that'll happen because I mean, you were telling me how some people are just like GTK will die.
Well, right now the thing that people are getting annoyed about is the fact that I keep doing videos on Vim plugins, and they're like, "Hey, Emacs does this out of the box. Stop using Vim. Just use Emacs."
Oh, do you happen to be Torvalds or Stallman?
At this point, honestly, like I put
no,
much...
I'm saying to them, like the people who are bullying you, because like, aren't they like staunch Emacs cultists?
I don't know about Torvalds. I know obviously Stallman is, but honestly, at this point, I've done so much work on my Vim config that I don't know if I'll ever switch over to Emacs. Maybe I'll try it out, but.
And then there's me who uses VS Code for everything because I'm on a Mac.
Yeah, that's fair. VS Code, it's a good editor. Like it's probably better than Sublime.
Yeah, I mean, so before VS Code and Atom, the go-to software was on macOS. So like you probably won't care.
Xcode?
It was some software. No, Coda. So like it was some software by Panic, who actually published, funnily enough, entitled Goose Game.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's some trivia. They published entitled Goose Game, and they also make other software. It's funny. Like most of the people who make Mac utilities also do like games. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I can't know the one you're talking about. I was looking for the editor.
Yeah, so like there's Coda, and now they're developing a new one, which hopefully, like they're saying, we think it's pretty good. It's probably not going to best VS Code though. Microsoft's got too many developers.
Well, VS Code also has the benefit of Microsoft also has the benefit of open sourcing it. so they can just outsource their development
I
work.
just had to channel my inner Steve Ballmer.
Mm-hmm.
Developers. I have fun here.
I can see that.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on, dude.
Yeah, no worries.
You're just cool.
Mm.
I mean, I'm still not over. Still got plenty more.
Yeah, we haven't even hit on most of the topics, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes.
Which one do you want to know?
Oh, I've got a couple on this list that you didn't know about.
I've been having fun with
I've been having fun with Damien recently, the big data guy. I don't know.
What about him?
He's decided that I'm now Linux boy. I don't know if you've heard this.
Oh yeah, I have. You are the Linux boy.
Yeah, he's decided to forget what my name is, and I'm now Linux boy. And he also, I haven't gotten around to it yet, but he did ask me to post my YouTube channel in the forum, which is amusing.
Yeah, what a guy, right? I mean, and then you've got he actually just forwarded a student onto me when they were having issues with Big Sur, because I'm just like, because they're just like, oh, you got some stuff running on Big Sur, so you must know what's going on, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, you're gonna have to pay money because Parallels is the only thing that runs on Big Sur right now.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. What? So nothing's working properly right now.
Well, you can use Docker. Because Docker was using Apple's hypervisor framework for a while.
Yeah.
VirtualBox, no. They still, because like VirtualBox insists on using kernel extensions, which Apple has completely deprecated. Like you can't use kernel mode at all.
Is Virt Manager a thing on macOS, or is that just a Linux thing?
It would be Linux only, because you can't have a.
That's a Red Hat thing.
You can't have a kernel level. Yeah, you can't have a kernel level hypervisor, because like KVM. Well, I mean, I suppose there is a kernel level hypervisor, but it's their hypervisor framework, which is provided at a user mode level. Before you could just use a kernel extension like VirtualBox did. Now you have to use user mode extensions. Which is probably for the best, to be honest, because the kernel mode stuff just crashes everything when people fuck up. And turns out, like, kernel developers fuck up a lot. So, especially when you're writing things on low-level C.
Well, yeah, it's as much as C. I've got a lot of people in my Discord who really like to praise C and how great C is. It's very easy to fuck up when you're doing something like that.
Yeah, like my favorite keyword in C is actually the union keyword, because I like the fact that you can have multiple types represented in the same memory space. But that is like the most broken thing I can think of in my head.
I've never seen a practical use for a union.
Oh, I can tell you. Color codes.
Okay, I've seen one practical use for a union. Is there another one? Yeah, that's the correct answer.
Structs, and like if you want to have that struct as a message, I guess. I don't know.
Sure, okay.
Like maybe Ethernet frames. Remember, you're working really low level, so you can have like lots of message types. It's a bit fucked.
Sure, okay.
C is great, like in the fact that it's terrible, but it's also great. Like there's no such thing as a namespace.
I talked about this to some people before, but I have a feeling C might go through the same sort of transition phase that Fortran went to, where people are going to move onto another language, and there's going to be like these. No, sorry, not Fortran. COBOL. COBOL's a better example, where you have these massive legacy systems that exist written in a language that now no one ever uses because they've moved on to, say, Rust, for example. And I feel like that could potentially happen.
I see C++, so like C as the language for bootstrapping, right? So, because like C is really low level, which is awesome. It's basically an abstraction, just like a little bit above assembly, because it's functional. It has the concept of functions. It has concept of parameters and stack and whatnot. And you can even call assembly in some compilers, which is good, but also dangerous. But because all you need to do to like get your first compiler is a C compiler. So you write a compiler for your compiler in C, and then you write a compiler for your language in something like whatever your language is. And then you compile that compiler from C to a binary. You then compile your new program from your binary to your binary's compile. Like, it's bootstrapping.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you would get your source code. So say like this is a language like, what's a compilable language? We can use C++. C++ makes sense because like you start with C compiler. So you get your C++ compiler compiled in C. You compile your C++ compiler written in C++ into your C++ compiler, and then you compile it one more time just so you know that it's self-hosting. Congratulations, you now have a compiler written in your own language. It's cool.
It is, yeah.
So like that's what I see the use of C for. Because seeing it's such a low level abstraction over the top, it probably won't have much more use than that, because there are better low level languages to use nowadays.
The problem is we already have compilers that exist, so that's not exactly the problem we really have to deal with right now.
I'm saying like it is actually like, so you start with like, when you're bootstrapping a system, like quite often you'll have a compiler which will compile for your system, right?
Sure.
It's so like it's just like writing things in IR, right? Intermediate representation, so like an intermediate language.
Sure, but the point I was getting at before with the COBOL comparison was, it's very likely that a lot of this, there's no reason why you can't do this low-level development in a language like Rust, and Rust is really taking off. I
love Rust.
It's really taking off in this space, and it's very possible it's very possible that in the next 20 or 30 years that people will stop learning C as much because more and more Rust jobs will start appearing in this space, and then you have these legacy systems that exist, but you don't really have the developers for it, because that's the problem that COBOL has right now. You have you have these massive banking systems and massive corporate systems that need to be maintained by somebody, but there's just no one that knows the languages, and I think that's very possible that it could happen to a language.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the sense that it's going to become a language with very limited uses. Like you would use it to compile LLVM, maybe.
Sure.
And then you would compile LLVM in LLVM.
Give me 1 second.
Would you be able to work 8 to 11 tonight?
No, I'm busy right now. Sorry.
All good.
Okay. Bye.
Nice.
I felt like unmuting the mic just because it would make it entertaining. This isn't the first time I've gotten a call during the middle of a podcast.
That is entertaining.
This is my boss calling me. One of my two bosses. Because I'm working at 2 stores right now.
Nice. On the topic of C becoming one of those languages which is only really used as legacy systems.
If it does go in that position you were saying, where it's just very, very, very low level stuff, that's going to be a very small market of developers, and you'll have the exact same problem. Like, if there's not just general embedded development work. Say, like, for example, let's just assume that all embedded development, like developing for all of these systems out there, just goes to Rust work. Saying this happens, the amount of C work that will actually be out there is a very tiny amount, and it's the same sort of problem you have. Yes, Sam, that's how big your dick is.
Yes, Sam, that's how big your dick is. Apparently, according to him.
I saw you look. I saw you looking at it.
He said, "Are you talking shit?" I'm being the messenger. He said his penis is perfectly slightly below.
It's averagely normal.
It's averagely normal, yes. I'm just going to disagree with you a little bit on C though. You'd need C# and Java to start to disappear. Same with C++, before C becomes irrelevant, because all that's a part of the C-like family.
Sure.
So, because like that syntax will still be understandable.
The syntax,
by those types
sure.
of
Well, syntax isn't the difficult part of learning a language. It's like actually learning the
memory
constructs.
Management for this one.
Yeah, memory management is the big one.
Yeah. But I mean, you still have the concept of memory management in Rust, though you have like the concept of lifetime.
Well, a lot of Rust,
super cool.
A lot of Rust developers, what's it called in Rust? Is it like there's a keyword you can use to just basically do C-like memory management.
Unsafe.
Yeah,
it's just unsafe.
Yeah, so there is a lot of Rust work that does get done with that.
But if you're using that, you'll quite often get yelled at.
Well, no, there's times where you simply have to do that, just because the way that Rust is managing your memory is just going to get in the way.
Yeah, like there's still structures which require unsafe, but that list is reducing every day.
Sure. But I don't think this is likely to happen anytime soon, but I do think it is very possible that it could happen with how popular Rust is getting. It might not even be Rust that does it. One day, though, C isn't going to be a very big language. There's never been a language that's stuck around since the start of programming, so one day C will die.
Did you hear about that? There was actually this repository for a web client written in Rust, where the community basically bullied the guy into like dropping the project over his usage of unsafe.
I think I've heard about that one. So it's a little
toxic. Yeah, I think it was like Atomics or something. But that one's like a no, it's not Atomics.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I definitely know the one you're talking about though. Also, it's difficult to find Rust stuff because there's also a game called Rust.
Actix. Yeah.
How do you spell
that?
It was ACTIX.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of drama. So it was Actix Web. And then there was, I'll send in the register one because the register's pretty good.
Yeah, I found a thing on Hacker News, but it's not this article.
Yeah,
I'm done with open source developer of Rust. Yeah, I've definitely seen this one.
Yeah, so it's just things got pretty toxic. So this is, I mean, that actually gives me a segue into another slightly toxic situation, which is not new, but it came into conversation a little while ago. Python's walrus operator.
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know what a walrus operator is, because I only heard this phrase like a few weeks back. The walrus operator is not semicolon, the colon equals.
So it's a walrus. It's got like
I've never heard that operator called a walrus though. So different languages use it differently. Cool, PHP isn't it assignment or something stupid? I know there's a language that uses it for assignment.
It's an assignment. But
no, I mean just regular assignment. No, nothing special.
It's a special assignment where the result is done beforehand, but it's also returned. So like in Python, you can't set and return at the same time with a regular equals.
If Corey wants to be in the shot, he can be.
Yeah, he can. He's just playing something. I think he's playing Beat Saber.
You guys definitely are working hard in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely working. But yeah, like they ended up losing their BDFL, benevolent dictator for life. So sad.
So basically, the deal with that, I have the technology to show things. Python walrus operator. Let's see if we can find an article about it. Surely, someone's got a written article about it, or is this just too nerdy that no one gives a crap to write articles? What is there is no articles talking about the controversy. This is the most nerdy Python stuff on the fucking planet. Okay, I'll just bring up the
gave you the worst link in existence, so...
Oh, okay, let's see what you got. Oh, you found... From Pact, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'll give you an actual link rather than the trash one.
It works, I'm on the website. Okay, so basically what happened is in PEP 572, if you don't know what a PEP is basically the way that a Python proposal is done.
Python enhancement proposal.
Yeah, sure, whatever it stands for. Basically, it's a proposal for the...
Sorry, I'm a Python developer.
That's all good. I needed one of those to understand what's going on. Basically, in PEP 572, there was a proposal for bringing in the walrus operator. And the walrus operator was, if I understand it correctly, it's an assignment which also returns a value.
But in drafting it, it got so heated because I don't even know.
There are like Python guidelines for how things should be developed, and people were saying this is why it doesn't fit in this, and other reasons like that. I'm not big in the Python community, so
if you actually want to know what actually got it through, if you look at it in usage, you'll notice that it's actually wrapped in parentheses. So that had to be included for it to be considered valid in order for the community to let it through. But even getting it through was like, he had to use all of his BDFL powers, which he shouldn't have had to. But because, like, I mean, when there's that much stress over a proposal, right?
Well,
it's all messed up, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure why he wanted to push this so hard.
Well, I think it's just I think it's just was a lot of dissent, but there was also a decent amount of support. So he had to just make a decision whether it was included or not, and it doesn't really affect people if they don't want to use it. So realistically, you can even like choose to put in a linter rule if you friggin' wanted to say no walrus. You can ban the walrus if you want to.
You can.
Highlint is a thing.
Yeah.
Just, everyone uses it. Like every commercial Python project I've seen has used some form of like automated linting and testing. Just, I don't know if that's just because of where I work, but
well, I only found out about this because this channel's been getting recommended to me a lot recently. It's Lex Fridman. Yeah, like for whatever reason, YouTube's like, hey, you want to see these videos of the driest programming nonsense you've ever seen? Watch Lex Fridman. If anyone who hasn't seen one of his videos, he has no emotion in his voice. He's just like, okay, so we're going to talk about this Java thing that I just did today, and here's this other Python thing I did, and this is the end of the video. That is how he sounds. But he says really smart shit, so I guess that's why people watch him.
I think I should just like start making parody programming tutorials that are impossible to follow. That should be my claim to fame on YouTube. I should just get involved, and I'll just be the absolute worst. I'll just be like, so you see this here? You need to put a forward declaration here, and a forward declaration here, and a forward. Just have like your entire program be forward declarations, or have Java where everything's casted to an object.
You wouldn't be the first person who's done videos like that.
I know I wouldn't. But I just want to add to the genre, you know? Add my particular brand of awful.
There are so many bad programming videos out there. It's the same with the Linux sphere
like,
as
the
well.
thing is that most of them aren't parodies, and that's the problem.
Well, yeah, go find some... Like, it's not just a joke that there's a lot of programming tutorials by Indian people and you can't understand a word they're saying in them, because that's most of the programming tutorials out there. For whatever reason, for people in India like making programming tutorials. I don't know why, but there's a lot of them.
Some of them are really good. Like,
some of them are
great,
really good. Yeah, for sure.
There's also a lot of trash ones just because of volume.
But there's also programming tutorials where it's like, okay, I'm going to be writing out tons of stuff on my keyboard. I'm not going to explain anything that has been done. Okay, we're going to skip ahead a bit, and okay, you've written Minecraft now. It's like,
yeah,
I think you skipped a few steps in there.
That one too. That was so good. That was like, I've seen that one too. That was so good.
But it's the same with the Linux sphere as well.
That one got heavily criticized because it didn't have an Indian accent. So
yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a very good point. But that's I don't think he or I could do a proper Indian accent, so we'll stop with that one.
Actually, he did a part 2 where he did an Indian accent.
Oh, right, yeah, he did, didn't he?
And he also had like the registered Bandicam and like YouTube stock music.
Yeah, there's two ways these program tutorials usually go. It's either a really, really heavy Indian accent, or they're going to write all the stuff down they want to say on Notepad.
With registered Bandicam. Can't forget that.
Because you can't download OBS or something.
Yeah, because OBS definitely isn't free. Definitely doesn't have open in the name.
I wish the Linux version of OBS was better. Like, there are some problems with it. For example, there's the audio plugin framework does it, at least on the master branch of OBS at this point, isn't available. So I can't do a lot of audio plugins. Like, I can't do what's the word I'm thinking of? We change the levels of different parts of the audio, like the highs and the lows. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Oh, mastering?
No.
No. Yeah? I don't know.
Anyway, the plugin framework for OBS isn't available on the master branch, so you cannot run plugins like this. Streamlabs isn't available on Linux, so you have to like do Streamlabs through the web interface. Really? Yeah, you have to do it through the web interface, which is a mess. It's
to be honest, Streamlabs in general is a little bit of a mess.
Sure, but it's certainly better than having YouTube take 30% of your income when you're doing you're doing like paid chats like that.
Yeah, it is. I've donated to a few streams. Not yours though. So
I actually haven't done the stream yet, so.
That's why I was like, I haven't seen it. So yeah.
Probably good. In 2 months when
I'll just dislike it. I'm kidding.
It's fine. I've already got a dedicated group of haters already, which means I'm doing something right.
Who are they? Are they the crew who hate your Vim use?
No, I think those people typically tend to be fairly positive, but there are some people like every single video I upload, without a doubt, it could be the least controversial thing on the planet, and there'll be a dislike on it. Dislike.
No, it's me. It's actually me. I'm the hater. I'm kidding, of course.
But hey, I am. I don't know if this is correct, but I think it probably is. I haven't seen any evidence to prove me otherwise. I think I'm the quickest growing small Linux creator. I think
you're doing a good job.
Because I'm at like
you've already got me as a sub.
A sub.
So, yeah, a sub.
Sub.
Like, you know how like we call it subway? It's not.
Sure. Yep.
It's like it's a subscriber.
But I'm getting like 700 subs a month, which I feel like is probably the quickest small creator. I don't know, but I don't know if anyone else in Linux Sphere is.
You're probably one of the fastest growing in Australia at the moment. So,
well, yeah, Linux creators in Australia is a fairly niche category.
Yeah, I know, but like you've definitely gotten some visibility, and I'd say you're like. So, like, just YouTubers in Australia is a small pool anyway. Even though you hate that term, Soz.
YouTube
content creators.
Okay, no, I don't hate the term YouTube. I don't use it for myself. Because I don't.
But I'm saying of people who produce content for YouTube in Australia, you're probably doing quite well. Or as a growth margin relative to your channel size.
Well, yeah, because I'm at 8,700. If I'm growing 700 a month, that's 10%, a bit less than 10%, 80-ish% a month.
I know this the channel Tech Over Tea won't grow nearly as fast because podcasts tend to be a lot more slow growing.
Well, this is nearing it's actually nearing 200.
Oh, neat. Soon TM.
What are we at right now? We're at 178 right now.
Soon.
Probably next month. But
very soon. Yeah, he's hoping.
I did actually have something interesting happen recently. So I presume you know of the Vivaldi browser.
I do know about Vivaldi.
Yeah, so I did a video on them recently talking about the way that they do their licensing structure. So there's a myth that keeps going around inside the Linux sphere that Vivaldi is completely closed source, which isn't correct at all. What's actually happening with Vivaldi is the UI is closed source. There's no question about that. The UI is closed source. The backend, though...
The rest is Chromium.
Sorry?
Right? The rest is just Chromium, isn't it?
Well, there's a bit of extra stuff they do to do their notes and stuff, but obviously the Chromium part's open source, but their backend code they've written themselves, that's licensed under a 3-clause BSD license, which is an open source license.
One of my favorite licenses. Stallman's least. Stallman's just it's not copyleft enough.
Actually, Stallman's not as strict on copyleft as you'd think. At least in the past.
Oh, he used to be. I mean, I know he used to be DPL or die, so...
Well, there's an article he wrote a while ago on GNU.org that... basically, where he says it doesn't have to be copyleft. It probably should be, but... it can still be free software if it's not copyleft. But the point I was getting at was, after that video came out, I got a message from Vivaldi on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, we like this video." Even though I titled the way I titled the video is amazing. I'll find the exact title just so I don't get it wrong. The title is Vivaldi explains why they make proprietary garbage in quotation marks. So I got that message from them on Twitter, and then a couple of days later I got an email from their PR manager who was like, "Hey, we really like this video and we want to send you some merch."
Oh, did you get merch? Please show me the merch.
I haven't got it yet because I sent the email to the PR manager and saying, "Yeah, I'll take it." Because they didn't get me to sign a contract or anything. They just want to send me some stuff. I don't know what they're sending.
Sick,
I know.
Dude.
I hear there will be stickers. I don't know what else though. Maybe
I would happily snag one of those stickers.
Yeah, if you want. I don't want it. I'll do a video on it.
I assure you that my laptop still needs more stickers. I've currently only got 2, so I've got one from my work and one from USAZA, so the Student Association.
You shouldn't have said that. Now my Discord's gonna have a field day with you.
Oh yeah, is it just because I'm a political hack?
No, it's because you're a soy dev.
I'm a soy dev.
Yeah, you're a soy dev.
How nice. Oh, is it because I've got the stickers on my laptop?
You have the stickers, you run a MacBook, you have a coffee, you just look like a soy dev. They're gonna have a field day with you.
Oh, I'd love for your Discord to roast me. It would make me so happy.
I'll be sure to let them know. Actually, I'll see if I can find the soy dev picture.
Let them know that it makes them makes me happy and it sparks joy in my heart. And send all the hate mail my way. I mean, yeah. So I like decorating my laptop. I have a MacBook. I also have an Apple Watch, so you can throw shade at me for that too.
I use an Apple Watch, of course. I can't find the soy dev picture.
Oh, I need to see this. I'm a soy dev now. I identify as a soy dev. I'm also a web developer, so you can use that against me too. Yeah, so I'm extra. It's like HTML is a programming language. Kidding, of course.
I cannot find. There are so many mentions of soy devs in my Discord. I can't find the specific one I'm looking for.
I think you've just actually made my day.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'm sure someone will let me know after this comes out.
Oh, please do. I want to be branded a soy dev. I will.
I know.
So I mean, I'm already. Sorry, I'm a Zoomer soy boy cuck. So
wait. Has Kenley sent you the? There's a really cheap sticker pack you can buy.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll see if I can find it in my messages, but I'll send you a link to it.
Please do. I am definitely going to cover my laptop with stickers, and then I'm going to have one of my colleagues like put me on blast.
I can't find it.
You seem to be having a bad day for finding things. Oh, you got it.
Yes. Here we go.
Oh, goody. Yes.
It's $1 plus free shipping.
So, there's two of them which won't be going on there.
Mm-hmm.
At least
the Debian one and the Arch one.
Well, actually, I know there's a few which will go on there already. There is the Python one.
Sure.
The Git one. I'll get like little penguin as well.
Sure.
Oh, and I've got to get like the Go mascot as well.
I absolutely love the Go mascot.
One will go on there because the Go mascot's great. I actually, so I had spare time when I was running a power session for uni because like no one came, so I spent my time just drawing all of the mascots for all the software projects I could think of. So like I drew Tux, I drew the Go Gopher, I drew the Plan 9 bunny, even though no one knows what the hell Plan 9 is.
You don't want to say that, mate. That's another thing there's a guy in my Discord loves. Actually, my mod is like always trying to get people to use Plan 9 stuff. He's the one Plan 9 user that exists.
Wait, Plan 9 still develops?
Yes.
I thought it was frozen.
I don't know. He uses Plan 9.
Maybe Bell Labs open sourced it. I don't know. Because Bell Labs is now owned by Nokia. Would you believe it?
Okay,
Weird.
Sure.
Yeah. Welcome to mergers and divestitures, I guess. The corporate world's confusing.
It is
never understand it.
Confusing.
I'm just going to make games. And software, and then hope for the best, and hope someone hires me.
Fair point.
Oh, though speaking of cool things, I actually got approached to join a company in my email, and I was just like, I can't work full time. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say no. Though they had an animation in their email, and I was just like, that is glorious. It's a cool company. They said to keep them in mind if I time freeze up, but it won't. I've got a whole nother semester after this.
Oh, you still have another semester, do you?
Yep, because of ICT project.
Ah, yes. So before we get way too far off of the topic of Go, one of my patrons and a guest, and also I guess I would call him a friend at this point, Donald Fury. He's done a lot of videos on Go, and his partner makes his thumbnails, and the thumbnails the thumbnails he has are absolutely amazing.
I love this so much.
Like, look at the one.
Oh wow!
The idea for the MongoDB one was his idea.
That is so good.
I did bring Donald back on the show. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been.
Yeah, he's got a...
I haven't watched through the whole thing.
Anyone who's not subscribed to Donald, go check his channel out. He's only got 330 subscribers. Like, he deserves way more attention than he gets.
Yeah, like, it looks like the thumbnails show that seems very passionate about it, which is good.
Well, okay. As I said, his partner makes the thumbnails because he used to make them, and they weren't very good. And he's very happy to admit they were not very good.
But I'm saying, like, the fact that he just sticks with Go stuff.
Yeah, he's done so many Go videos at this point. I don't know why he's done so many.
Go is such an interesting language. Like, it has a rather unusual syntax. It follows some of the Plan 9 sort of, I suppose, design principles. Like, late binding. That's not a thing on Plan 9. That was not allowed in Plan 9. It's not encouraged in Go, but they've had to relax some of that, mainly just because of noobs. So many noobs. It's also a similar issue of Rust, right? Because a lot of people try to do OO in Rust. You don't do OO in Rust. You do something different. Because Rust is not an OO language.
Rust is just procedural language, isn't it?
Procedural with structures, traits, and it's awesome. I'd say, like, the hackiest part of Rust, in my opinion, is macro rules.
I haven't actually done any Rust at this point, so...
So macros basically allow you to rewrite the syntax tree.
Oh, okay.
It's as janky as it sounds. So, like, you can generate Rust code using a syntax which would not typically be allowed by Rust. It's weird. Well, I mean, and it expands out into... I don't know how to explain it.
I'm looking at it right now.
I've never been able to use it successfully because the documentation I found quite unclear. I think it's a cool feature, but I think it needs better docs.
Sure.
As of everything on Rust.
Well, yeah, as I was saying, it may take over the embedded development sphere at some point, but it may not happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's even projects to write operating systems using Rust as well and stuff like that. I mean, if you wanted to create one, you just have to rewrite libc, basically.
Well, there are discussions of not rewriting the Linux kernel in Rust, but opening up, I guess, an interface to work with Rust inside of the Linux kernel, so you could write extensions to it through Rust.
I think they should follow the model of disassembling the monolith, if you know what I mean. So, sorry, someone was at the door. So to describe disassembling a monolith, you've got, like, a set of modules, right? And then you start going module by module, rewriting that code, keeping the API the same. Well, not the API the same, or ABI. Is it API or ABI? I think it's an ABI. And then that keeps things nice and, orderly and compatible.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
No, that makes sense, yeah. I don't see the monolith of Linux ever, like, being changed in that way.
No, it's too big. It's too big, but I think, like, new drivers could be written in
absolutely,
Rust, for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt that could possibly happen. That's why opening up the interface to work with other languages is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and like that is like the pro strat of this, really.
So, I had a point that I was going to bring up earlier, and then I completely forgot about it. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I mean, we got plenty of other things we can talk about.
We do. Have you? Okay, this is kind of old news at this point, but have you seen the trailer for the newest Call of Duty?
No, I haven't, but I've heard it has like this ex-KGB guy, right?
I don't know if I can wait. Yeah, the trailer's on YouTube. There's some names you're not allowed to say on YouTube. Basically, the trailer has Yuri Bezmenov in it, who is a KGB defector during the Cold War, who basically came to the US, and he's done a bunch of lectures on this, talking about how the Russian government basically overthrows a country, and the steps they go through to overthrow a country.
All right.
Yeah. So let's see if I can find information on it. Yuri Bezmenov. I
know anyone like who's ex-KGB is going to be a controversial character.
Okay, no, the problem is that there are some names on YouTube that you're not allowed to say.
Not allowed to say?
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to say his name?
Yeah, there is some people,
What's that?
Because YouTube doesn't want you to know about certain people. I'm
not surprised.
What were the force?
Google, an alphabet company.
Bezmenov, subversion. Let's see if we can find it. I should be able to find.
I know that like the KGB was kind of like big on generating bullshit. So.
Mm-hmm. Why can I not find it? Basically, all of his lectures were about ideological subversion and effectively how you would overthrow a government. But I cannot. I should have gone and researched this before, because now I cannot remember exactly what the points were.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
So you know what? We're gonna do it like this. This will also work. Right. Okay. So it was demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization. Hello. Yeah.
Like. Yeah.
Yeah. Demoralization. So basically, you'll demoralize the populace, and that would cause the country to destabilize, which would cause a crisis, and then crisis becomes normalized, and then basically you've successfully overthrown a country at this point. And up until this point, YouTube has kind of been deleting every reference they can to his any of the lectures that he releases or that he's released in the past. So yeah, so it's kind of amusing that the one way that people who are like 15, 16 are going to find out about Yuri Bezmenov is through a Call of Duty game.
That is amazing.
But
so when Activision Blizzard did everyone a solid, did they?
Yeah, it's so weird that Activision Blizzard is actually the ones getting involved with this, because these are the same tactics that China basically uses as well. And Blizzard is in the pocket of China right now. Like, they will do anything that China says.
Didn't they withdraw the prize money for like some Hong Kong person who like protested the police brutality in Hong Kong, as well as like
there have been a couple of instances of that
protesting. Yes.
The problem that we have right now is a lot of these
controversial issues.
Mm-hmm. A lot of these big companies, what they see is China is a very big market right now, and that's sort of all they're seeing. Yeah. They're seeing this is just a place where we make a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's more than a market. It's just like governments have policies, and they should know that, and they do, and they just choose to not take a stand even when, I suppose when money's on the line.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
it's a problem with authoritarian states. So
the other thing they see is that if they don't basically bow to China, then China is just going to steal what they have and just make it themselves.
Yeah,
because we have with
didn't that happen with Riot?
Maybe.
Like I think if I remember correctly, Tencent wanted a mobile version of League.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Riot refused, They made their own.
That would explain why there's a couple of those that exist now.
Yeah. I think that was a story. Mind you, don't quote me on that. I might be thinking of a different company or a different game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it wouldn't be.
It rings a bell.
It's in Tencent's playbook. It's in Tencent's playbook.
For sure, yeah.
They're a game company themselves. They can throw together something very quickly.
Yeah, well, Tencent's also got a lot of money and a lot of subsidiaries, so even if they can't do it, they can definitely get someone else to do it.
Yeah. It's complicated. A complicated relationship to have with your borderline subsidiary.
Well, basically everyone's a subsidiary of the Chinese government when you're a company like that, so...
I mean, Tencent does have a lot of, pretty... I think if I remember correctly, you do actually have to have a certain number of party officials in your company.
That sounds right.
Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not sure about that, but I think that sort of environment plays a part. It's nothing like how companies are run here. There's no representation from the government here, and it's probably for the best.
For sure, yeah. So,
but yeah, that's a lot.
So we've got one other big topic left on the list, and that is about some changes to the Australian university system. This came up last week, and everyone on the podcast last week was super in favour of it. So
are you talking about, which one are you talking about? The arts one, or the one where people get like?
I'm talking about yeeting your hex. Yeet your hex.
Getting yeeted off the hex program.
Yep. So anyone who didn't see last week, because it was focused on Mr. Robot, so I can understand why people wouldn't want to watch that.
Mr. Robot's a good show, though.
It is a good show, but if you don't want to see Mr. Robot spoilers, then yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand. Do watch it, though.
Absolutely. So basically, actually, do I still have the link from last week? I might.
Probably do. Not in this chat, though.
Oh, of course, it'll be over in that chat, won't it? Yes, I can do that.
Correct.
Can I find it? Did I send it to them, or did I just show it on the screen? I'm
actually curious to see your rationale, because I tend to lean on the side of compassion in this sort of sense. So,
okay, so I'll just reread it again, or at least reread parts of it.
Could you chuck it in the chat for me, just so I can follow along?
Do that.
Cheers, dude.
Correct chat in that one. Okay, so this is a release from the Minister of Education. Doesn't really matter what his name is. I can't pronounce it. Also, they got the date wrong on it as well, which is amusing.
I'm not surprised.
So, this doesn't matter. The Morrison government, yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay, so the Job Ready Graduates legislation contains measures to strengthen and extend student protection and provider integrity by... And there are 3 points. I can't count, apparently. So the first point is that requiring that universities ensure that all students are academically suitable for their course of enrollment and that students are engaged with the course and maintaining a reasonable completion rate. If that was the only point on here, I don't think you would have any disagreements.
Sorry, say that again? The first point, yeah.
The first point, yes. The first point is entirely reasonable. Basically, the university should be ensuring that people are actually suitable for the course before they even let them do the course.
My rationale for so that system already exists under the preclusions program.
Mm-hmm.
So not a program. Universities can preclude students if they haven't made satisfactory progress.
Mm-hmm.
Though this does take a while, I do admit, and quite often it can be appealed. Usually if you have a good reason, such as medical or mental health issues, provided that you're actually actively seeking treatment or making improvements, you'll be prevented from being precluded. But moving on.
Yeah, the second point is ensuring that his students' hex help debts can be forgiven if their progress has been affected by special circumstances. And this point doesn't really mean much until you see the third point.
This part I'm fond of.
So the third point is kind of the big point of this. So students with a low completion rate or progression rates will no longer be able to access a Commonwealth-supported place, hex help, or fee help. So basically, this is just the loan structure that we've got for Australian universities and Australian higher education, basically. A low completion rate would be a student who has failed more than 50% of 8 or more units in a bachelor course. If a student can demonstrate circumstances have adversely affected their academic performance, for example, illness or bereavement, the education provider can allow for consideration of these impacts. If a student this should be a fourth point. Okay, so we'll leave that as the third point. And the fourth point is if a student transfers to another course, the low completion rate will not be carried with them. So if you say, failed a bunch in electrical engineering, and you realize electrical engineering is not for me, I cannot do this, and you're like, okay, instead of doing this, I'm going to go do social science. At that point...
No, this is also something I'd want clarification on.
Wouldn't be carried over.
So, this is something I'd want clarification on as well, because... if a student enrolled, say they'd been, I suppose, knocked back for low completion, and are, quote unquote, not able to access a CSP, hex help, or fee help, if when they enrolled in a new course, they would be able to access a Commonwealth supported place in that new course. I'm assuming so. But
that's how it
says that the low completion rate won't be carried with them. But however, when you say they will be no longer able to access such and such and such, right? It feels too broad.
The way that I'm reading it is that if they transfer into something different, then the previous, I guess, marks on their record would be forgiven inside of that context. That's the way I'm reading it.
So this is complicated. So my position is that it shouldn't be subject to hex because we already have processes to manage this in the university. And in fact, this is making them a lot stricter than they were. And while there may be some people who are eroding the system, it is by far not the majority. And yes, low completion rates are a concern. Yes, students having a lot of debt is a concern, but I don't think this is the way to go about it, particularly because the university... So, I mean, it can be hard to demonstrate to a university adequate illness or bereavement, right? It depends on the university. Every university sets their own policy on that front.
Having Sam do that in the background actually sets the mood perfectly for this.
Thank you for the laugh. I wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, so my position is basically it's making something that was already a difficult process much harder, and I also think that withdrawing people's access to a CSP, hex help, and fee help for a course permanently is not exactly helpful either, because it could have just been
one point there before you go on. I don't it's unclear whether it's permanent or if at some point
I hope it's similar to preclusion, because
it's very possible that there could be some reason why they would let you back in at a later date. But it's not clear from this media release here. I haven't actually read the article itself.
A preclusion is actually a lot more, a lot broader than this is, theoretically speaking, because when you're precluded from the university, you're basically barred from the university for 3 years. So it's not going to prevent you from getting a CSP. It's not going to prevent you from getting HEX help. It just means that now is probably not the best time for you to be doing study. Because the university's general position is they don't want to waste your money. They don't want to waste your time. And if they see that you're struggling and you have no way to get better, they don't want you here, you know? Well, I mean, sure, they probably want your money, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, at the moment, they definitely want your money.
Well, Adelaide Uni definitely does.
Oh, yeah, did you hear?
I've definitely heard.
It's chaos. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so for me, of course, there are these existing structures for basically keeping someone, I guess, out of or stopping someone before they build up too much debt for themselves. But I'm also approaching this from someone who cares where my taxes are going, and I don't like if there are people who are struggling to complete a course. And they are struggling to the point where they are failing 50% or more of their courses. Of 50% or more of their courses in I can't fucking read. 50% of 8 or more units in a bachelor course. There we go. Someone who has failed that many courses without a medical reason for doing so, or some other reason why they weren't able to do that. Like every year, one member of their family died. Like that would be a legitimate reason, I think, for why you couldn't complete it. But someone like, for example, Aiden, who sticks around forever.
I hope he never listens to it.
I don't know, I've mentioned his name before. But someone like that who clearly cannot complete the course and has no reason why they can't complete the course but keeps sticking around, someone like that, I don't think there's any reason why they should be able to access HEX help in this context.
Sam was like, "Are you talking about me?" I was like, "No." Yeah, because Sam actually listens to this sometimes.
Does he?
I'm sure. Do you listen to some of these? Yeah, to quote. But yeah, so like, I see where you're coming from. But I also see it as a return sort of thing, because like some people, like as I said, some people are potentially rorting the system. Yes,
I don't know if he's rorting the system or if he's just too stupid to do anything else.
I wasn't specifying Aiden.
Okay, sure.
I know other people who are potentially rorting the system.
For sure, yeah.
But I mean, there are some people who just had a really bad first year, and they had to get their they had to get that click to get into first gear. So like, I mean, not get into first gear, get into like.
Yeah, I hope you're not in first gear after all that effort.
Yeah, first gear, it's gonna like, oh dear. I mean, for first year, it was me in first gear for sure. I was just like cruising along,
Yeah.
Starter engines. But anyway, yeah, so there are some people who really struggle in their first year, and quite honestly, I think that it's way too tight, and the fact that it's against like the debt apparatus means that it's skewed heavily to the wealthy, and also would cause an increase in the usage of private student loans as well. So, because like they exist still,
sure,
it's just not typically. And it would actually. So something about when you remove the CSP as well. So the CSP actually takes away most of the fees, right?
Sure.
Otherwise, you'd end up paying as much as an international student.
Well, yeah, the international students are the ones who are really getting screwed.
Yeah, but if you don't have a CSP, that's how much you pay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the actual burden of losing a CSP is basically as much as barring them from the course.
Sure.
So, I think that it's placing too much of a burden on people who just made a mistake, potentially. And I think if it doesn't come with an expiry date, then I think it is too rough.
I see where you're coming
and the fact that it
from,
hasn't listed one.
I do see where you're coming out from that point, but when it comes to,
I know you care about like taxation.
Well, also
keeping costs down.
Also, a point that I was going to get at was when you said that when you brought up people who are in like low income families. I think that if you're going to be going to university and you're from a family like that, if you're not willing to put in the work, you shouldn't be going to university. I don't care that like it's one of the ways you can bring yourself up in life. There are other ways, and I have absolute respect for people who go into like blue collar trade work, like people who go and do like, you know, sparky work, electrician for anyone who's not in Australia, who like people who are brickies, plumbers, anything like that. Those people, like, it's not like those people are making small amounts of money, and I think
they're making a decent amount.
There's a lot of people who come out of high school, and I was one of these people who thought that university was the only thing that you could actually go and do. I think a lot of the problem with the university system as it is could be solved with high schools putting more of an emphasis on actually explaining the routes you can take in life. Because right now, most people seem to think that if you don't go to university, you're not going to get a good job. Like that seems to be the world that we're in right now.
I remember some of my teachers at my high school basically saying that your life is over if you don't go to university. So that was...
I know some people right now who are doing really well for themselves who are like, I'm going to go do some trade work because I'm not going to get through university. I can't do another 4 years of school. That's insane. They went and did trade work. Obviously, at the start, they were making dirt. Like,
of course. Like
apprentices get paid fucking nothing, but it's not like that is bad work. And I think there's a lot of the problem with people, maybe not rorting the system, people who go and get debt they really don't need to get, comes from the fact that there are people who just simply don't know that there are other alternatives at this point.
It's also just getting back to what you were saying about, I suppose, low income people and university as well.
Well, I've mentioned this before. I came from a fairly low income family myself. Like, for the past...
Likewise.
I think my parents split up when I was in grade 11? 10? I don't remember. And my mum, it was on like a $30,000 a year, which is by no means a lot when you're trying to raise 2 kids.
Particularly in Australia. Australia's cost of living is like loony, dude.
Mm-hmm. So it's when I talk about coming from a low income house, like I'm talking from personal experience. If you want to do it, put in the work. It's no one else's problem if you're not going to put in the work.
Yeah, but it's also worth mentioning that sometimes circumstances are different. So
for sure.
So like if you're having to work like way too many hours, sure, you probably should be part-time.
If you're failing because you're taking on too many hours at work, I think that one's entirely your fault. Like, you can do part-time uni.
I think this is just going to be where we have like a fundamental disagreement. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
As in, like, I'm going to tend to sway on the side of the sorry, I can't words today, Brody. I can't words.
So good.
I'm going to tend to sway on the side of people being able to have access, whereas you're going to say, don't waste your time. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, like, you're going to have one position. I'm going to be like, But if you really want to be here, I would like you to be able to go here. But you also say if you're wasting your time, yeah. You know what I mean?
I want university to be open to people, but I want it to be open to people who are gonna put in if you're gonna go to university and you're gonna try to like skate through on P's, like just don't go.
Yeah, I don't like the whole P's get degrees stick. Yeah. But that's just me as an academic. Anyway.
One exception.
I mean, like,
I do make an exception for that if you're basically putting in no effort into uni for the sake of the paper and also building up something on the side. Like if you're going through like a if you just want the paper because for whatever, like you want to go do military work, for example, like if you want to do that work, they won't accept you without a degree. So in that case, then build up your portfolio as you're going. But if you want to like go work at Google, Google has said in multiple instances, they do not value degrees. Like if you have a degree, they do not care.
It's like worth toilet paper to them. Yeah, they care about what you've done and what you're passionate about and what you built.
So if you're going to slide through with basically no effort and you're doing something on the side, that I completely accept. And that I think is actually kind of admirable.
1 sec, I'm just going to grab my charger.
All good. I'll just entertain you guys for a couple of seconds, I guess.
Literally a second.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. Told you. So just to get on, I suppose networking in Adelaide. Do you do it?
Mate, I build up a side business and waste 4 years of my life. That's what I do.
You're going to end up being like one of those hustlers on Etsy or something.
Mate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to retire by 30 and you're going to be working till you're 60 because I'm putting away like over half my income every week. By the time I'm 30, I'm going to have like a $10,000 a year income just from my investments. That's my life.
I just don't care about money.
Sure, but if I invest all this money, then I can stop working.
Are you going to be like Wall Street like bets and just like lose all of your money in like 2 seconds?
I'm taking like okay, just imagine you're trying to like okay, have you ever played RuneScape?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to like max out your fire making level. The way you do it is you burn like logs. No, that's not the way you do it at all. The way you do it is you go and cut the logs yourself and then you burn them. That's my life. You take the hardest approach possible, but is the cheapest and the safest approach. And that is basically what I'm doing. I'm just investing in dividends, basically.
For me, I'm mostly just thinking, what do I want to do? Like, so I already have quite a bit of side work.
Too much,
you know how
one would say.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit of work. I'm kidding. It's like, what is it? Hold on,
bring that one off the screen. I'll still show the fucking media release on the screen still.
Sorry, what?
I still had the media release up on the screen. It'd been there for way too long.
Oh wow. Oh geez, we should probably change that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's fine. I've fixed it now.
All right.
Anyway, yes.
But yeah, so like I've got this this project I'm doing with this guy in LA. This project I'm doing with Jai, who is a character.
He's been on the show before.
He has. Oh no, you already have. He has lenses.
Yes. He was the guy who had the face tracker lens on the entire time.
Yeah, that Jai is a lot. He technically works at my other workplace too.
Wait, he still works there, does he? I never see
him because he never comes into the office.
That's fair.
IT perks, am I right? You can just never go into work.
Hey, well now you can kind of avoid work as much as possible because you can be like, cough, I want to work at home.
No, actually, I don't even have to do that. Like, they literally don't care. And they're just like,
well, yeah, they didn't care before.
We'd like it if you come into the office. Yeah. Like, otherwise, Jai would be in so much trouble. I've never actually. So, like, there's this guy who supposedly sits next to me in the office. His name's George. I have not seen him once.
Wait, didn't you say didn't you say your monitors were shit? Would anyone notice if you swapped them?
He actually does come into the office,
okay,
but like not when I'm there. I think he's just trying to avoid me. No, I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, it feels like it sometimes. But yeah, yeah, it's a cool place to work. Won't shout them out because they're too involved with the university sector. And then you can find me. I don't want people to find me.
Well,
they can call me a soy dev. They can call me a soy dev in Discord, but no further, please.
Well, if you give me a link to your GitHub that I'll put in the description, probably, then I think I'll track you down.
Know.
If you don't want any links, I won't put any. But
no. I'd like to do my GitHub because I've got some cool stuff. I actually had to remove some stuff off of there because there was some stuff which has gotten a bit outdated. So I was just like,
oh yeah, I love those emails you get from GitHub. It's like, wow, is something happening? No, it's just like, here's this vulnerability in this project that you have on GitHub. Like,
actually, were you an Arctic Code Vault contributor?
I am. Yes.
I have to know.
I have lots of stuff in there.
What was yours?
I've got a bunch of stuff in there because I've got okay, here's the sad part about being an open source developer. I have like 300 followers on GitHub, and I don't do anything on there. I have 369, and my my .files repo has 127 stars and 29 forks, and I don't do anything on here.
Nice. I mean, I just contributed to like this one dead Redmine plugin, so I've only got one thing on them.
Yeah, I've got like,
but it was
like, this is why I've got a lot of stuff in here because it's
yeah. You know how Ruby on Rails is kind of like a thing?
It is a thing for sure. Does exist.
Yeah. So like there was this thing which was using alias method chain, which is like deprecated.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to use a prepend to do monkey patching instead. So I fixed it up for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it would support Redmine 4 and like a new version of Rails. So it was a good time. Ruby allows you to do so much hacky shit, dude. But then again, so does Python. But like Ruby makes it easier.
Mm-hmm. My only experience with Ruby was a really bad example of how OO works. They basically just showed off why OO was terrible.
Just a heads up, I've sent you my GitHub.
I spotted that.
It's a good time.
Someone will track you down.
I like your repos, but you can tell that my work uses GitHub because of how my my contributions are structured. So, because it's just like the days I work, something is fair every day. And then you can tell when I started working at the company too. Oh wow, I'm in tragedy.
Oh, does the AGPU organization actually have anything on it at this point, or is it still?
It did have, like, I did actually have a new version of Bot 102, but I never ended up pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
I also did have a start of like the events API, but then no one appeared to be interested. So I was just like,
yeah, this is the worst, the worst programming club to ever exist. There's no work ever being done. It's just a game club at this point.
I mean, I was the only developer. Let's face it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was like the only one who actually wanted to get some stuff like built. I was pushing for people to do games development. I mean, Marty's being to Marty's credit, he did try to run a game jam, but I don't think it was really executed that well, thanks to Verona. I don't think he reached out to Adelaide game developers at all. So
yeah, we'll see how the I kind of want to pop my head in like next year and see how much the club's going to fall apart.
Oh, don't be like that. No,
I don't expect it to go back to what it was, like where there was like no members, but I feel like it's going to get even further away from development. It's probably just going to be a gaming club at some point.
You watch, they'll amend the objectives in the AGM and they'll be gone forever. So it'll be a bad time.
Well,
I bet you, if like the first year's takeover, it's like it's a games club now.
Well, to be fair, they're at least using it as a study club. Like every time I go in there after big data, they're watching our boy Matt's lecture, Mr. Selway.
I actually did to their credit, they have been trying their best to learn C++, but I'm just like, hey, who needs help? And like all of their hands go up because it's C++.
Yeah, it's not a fun language. I refuse to work with it.
Oh, I don't refuse, but I understand that it will throw a compiler error in your face. And the moment you actually have to do a dependency, so like, you know how like you can do a two-way relation, so like a one-to-one relation?
Yes. I think I know what you're talking
in
about.
C++, it's a bit of a pain because you need to do a forward declaration using the header files, put in a header guard, and then have them both be like their own compilation units, then use the linker to get them in. So it's tedious, but that's because it's C with OO.
Yeah. Well, okay, someone's gonna complain about that one as well.
I mean, so like as I said, C++ is good, but it's not an easy language to work with.
Well, after checking, I mainly do stuff with web languages. So going back from that to C++, it hurts me. Like it really hurts me.
So like the languages I've been using lately for most things. So let's start with my work. Our stack is Docker, Django.
Yep.
And like JSX with React and stuff. Neat.
JSX is nice. I like it.
I don't want to talk about the legacy stuff. I'm ashamed of the legacy stuff. Well, it's not legacy at the moment. We still use it. I'd never want to touch that.
Here's what you do with the legacy
it's
code.
It's too big.
Do you want to know what you do with legacy code?
What do you do?
You take all of it, okay? You squash it down and you call the commit legacy.
Well, what if the legacy code is the thing we've been working on for the last 20 years? By we, I mean the company.
Just squash it down and ignore it. And just ruin the entire company in a day.
And I'm just going to... Well, I mean, it's its own repo. So, like, what we're working on now is a completely new program.
Hope they have it backed up then.
Yeah, so it's its own repo. It's on GitHub and everything. Not you'll be able to see it.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, like, it's the thing when you're working with a company, it's private. If you ever make it public, you're going to get fired.
Well, unless your entire company is about doing open source stuff.
Yeah, unless you're working on React.
Yeah.
Or Yarn before it left Facebook.
Or, you know, you hate yourself and you're using Kdenlive to edit stuff. Fucking hate Kdenlive. Kdenlive is fucking horrendous.
You're using Kdenlive, aren't you?
It's because there's no better alternatives. Well, there is, but it has a memory leak in it, and it can't be used right now.
What one's that one?
That would be Olive. Olive is a, have you ever used Premiere?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how it's a node-based video editor?
Yeah.
Olive is node-based, Kdenlive is layer-based. And Kdenlive has a fun bug right now where if there's more than 3 things in the render queue, it crashes. Just
nice.
100% of the time, it just crashes.
How long's that been there for?
Since the update came out. And this is what Kdenlive does.
Can't you do a rollback?
I could also go download the app image. Okay, Kdenlive...
App images are like the worst thing ever.
Kdenlive is the Windows of video editors. Every other update, it's completely broken. So there's people I know who...
that wasn't macOS smugness. That was because like I'm using macOS and they just choose to decide to break everything too.
But I know there's people who use really old versions of Kdenlive and don't update because they're scared they won't be able to use it. Because it's that fucking broken. It's been broken for like 10 years.
Come on, KDE team, you can do it. I believe in you. To be honest, isn't it like Qt based because it's
yes,
Qt based.
Okay.
Sorry, I've grown it there. Shitty pronunciation.
Oh, people get annoyed when I say alacrity.
Pardon?
It's the terminal I use.
Oh.
They're like,
wait, with the Alacra TTY.
Yes. They complain that I'm pronouncing alacrity wrong. And the way they tell me to pronounce it sounds exactly the same as I'm saying it, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh, they're probably just picking on your accent, dude.
Oh, no, they 100% am. Because I'd say both of them, and they sound the exact same.
Well, I mean, I was just by the way, before they flame me, I'm just confirming it was Alacra with the TTY thing, because like TTY is...
No, it is alacrity. You don't pronounce that the TTY.
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying, like, don't flame me. I just wanted to find out.
You're already a soy dev, so...
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, good point. I'm already like the lowest tier in there.
Oh, you're already you're also in a DX racer, so that doesn't help either.
I'm on a what?
The chair behind you.
Oh, I don't even know, dude.
It's a DX racer.
A VR lab.
It's a gaming chair.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just in the VR lab. You don't like the chair?
With your
leave me alone.
$300 chair and thousands of dollars of tech around you.
True. There's a really nice monitor behind me too.
Is there?
Okay. Well, like behind my computer. It's like a nice Dell
I think you might have briefly showed that one earlier.
Yeah. This room's actually pretty chill though. Like it's got like lots of cool little lamps and Pikachus and It's a fun room. It's like one of my favorite rooms in this place.
What is nice, especially because it's usually empty.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. Not having people. Everybody's favorite. I like people, I promise.
I don't know why people are still sticking around. It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's called We Got a VR Assignment due next week, dude.
What day is that? Okay, you said it was due on Thursday. That does not sound right. Why would it be due on a Thursday?
Yeah, because he sucks and it's a bully. He's bullying us. Not that he should hear that.
No, I know that...
You're just going to send...
I know that he doesn't watch. I know Andrew knows about my channel, though. Andrew Cunningham.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's cool. Though, if he ends up watching this, my Spark Plus never worked.
It started working now. You should work.
I don't know. I don't know.
He gave an extension without telling anyone.
Classic. But yeah, to be honest, like all of the VR guys, like the VR lecture is pretty cool too. It's just kind of, how am I supposed to know when things are due?
Yeah, it's not listed anywhere on the course page. He says it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
And there's no submission spot for it either.
Apparently it's next week now. Like, from now it's due next week.
Okay.
So like, now we're all under the pump to finish all of these functions and stuff.
Because I heard it wasn't due until, like, the 8th or something.
By the way, if you want to know about the level of crisis involved with my ICT project at the moment...
yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. I mean, I got a bit concerned earlier this week when I was going through the backlog, which one of my group mates did, only to find that they didn't realize we were using a database and were going to write something to store the credentials in a CSV file.
Why?
Yeah. We have a MySQL database. We should be using that. I'm just trying my best to stay calm, because like I reasonably should have that done by tomorrow as well. So I might do a less than smart thing and stay up way late and finish that, or try to get at least part of the API done. At least if I can get the API, then I can show something to my client tomorrow, because we have a meeting tomorrow. The milestone actually finishes on Monday, though, so...
Your project is... everyone I've spoken to, their project is so much more stressful than mine. I'm so lucky with what I got. Like, mine is the fucking chillest thing.
What's yours?
So I'm
doing VR related.
No, not anymore. It was. Okay, so
why do you still have the headset?
Because I haven't given it back yet. Because I haven't asked for it back, basically. So
it's a Windows headset.
Basically, they're not going to ask for it back. Anyway, it was VR related. Basically, it was big data stuff, graphs and stuff inside of a VR context. Yeah, data visualization in VR, in a genomics context, if you care at all. And
genomics is cool.
It is. I don't understand any of it. I just show the data.
Nor do I.
Now it's switched over from that to being multi-touch. So basically, I have to convert the existing system to work on a multi-touch screen. And that's why I've got... Let's see if I can reach it.
As an iPad or...
No, I'll grab it.
Is it like a Surface?
It is.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I know. It's a Microsoft Surface.
Nice.
There we go. Better for you. It's blue as well.
It is blue. I like blue. It's a cool color.
But anyway, yes, we're converting it to work over with multi-touch. And what point was I getting at here? Right, my project is real easy. So basically, there's a dev who's working on it full time, and me and my team member are doing more work than he is, and he's getting paid. So give me a fucking paycheck. He's like continuing on the VR side, and we're doing multi-touch now. And in reality, I can stretch out as long as I want, but in reality, I have about like 20 hours of work to do, and then I'm done.
All right. I mean, realistically, like the reason mine's bad is just because we have an existing app, we have an existing schema, and we've got to somehow get that to work with a mobile app when there's no existing API.
Okay, to be fair, it's not as easy as I say. We also do have 20,000 lines of code, and there's like maybe 10 lines of documentation outside of the
my level.
Outside of the libraries that are being pulled in.
Get on my level. Do you know why I say that? Enterprise projects have like a lot more.
Well, the other problem we have is there's a lot of classes and we have no idea if they're being used. Like, they're just sitting there. But do they do anything? Fucked if I know.
I think the smallest project I've seen at my work had about 5,000 lines of code, and the largest GitHub couldn't even calculate it because it was like a 20-year-old repository.
Fucking hell.
That last one was the one I was telling you about, which is the legacy one. The one which takes 2 hours to transfer from Subversion. 2 hours!
Jeez. Yeah, I am so lucky with what I got, because I would not be able to finish this project and do the channel full time. Like, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, like, realistically, I think I should probably be part-time. Like, if I was smart, but I'm not, so...
If I had a project like yours, I would be doing it part-time, because I wouldn't be able to do, like, big data, VR, and also this at the same time if I had a proper project.
Yeah, and work.
Yeah, and work. Well, I work... How many hours a week do you work?
22 and a half.
Fuck. Yeah, I do usually 12, anywhere from 12 to 16 right now.
Also worth mentioning, that doesn't include the roughly 5 hours of expected work for you, Saza, and...
yeah, I was just asking about your day job. I know you do tons of other shit as well.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone insane yet. And if I only need to keep it up for this semester, then it'll start to ease up again, and I can relax.
November 29th sounds like an important date. That might be when I feel like that's when we finish, somewhere around that point. I don't know why I think...
Yeah, roughly around there. Probably roughly around there.
No, November... Actually, UniSA course...
They have to term dates and stuff.
Calendar. Let's find out... You have the same class as me, don't you? Yeah, you do. So...
Yeah, we've got the same classes.
Yeah. Study period 5... is it study period 5? Yes, it is. So exam period starts on... Actually, no, earlier. Oh. Exam period starts on the 14th.
Am I your favorite overworked soy dev, Brody?
I don't know too many other soy devs. So I think you're...
I hope I'm on your top list of developers in general, though. So
probably.
Well, of the UniSA kind, not like the real world.
Nah, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's self-evident.
Aw, thanks.
Is that
I think you're like on the top list, if not the top. So.
Yeah, I'm a lazy as fuck dev at this point. I do basically no dev work.
I mean,
I'm just hoping this works out, basically.
I think you're going to be fine, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it, and yeah, basically. So teaching break is on the 21st, in case you weren't sure.
Oh, 21st next month? Or...
Yes. So that'd be week 8, 9.
Yeah, so the 21st of September. That'll be a good time.
I don't know what week that's going to be. I can't count. I'm going to say week 8. End of week 8.
Sick. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Good time to recollect my bearings.
Yeah. Well, that'll be... Actually, how are you going on...
little fact, I have to do ICT during that break too. So.
Yeah, I do, but I also don't have much work to do. So how are you doing on big data? Because we have the short research paper to write, which you probably haven't started.
Correct.
Thought so.
Sorry, Damien.
Have you picked a topic?
No.
Get a dartboard. Just wrote a dart. Just...
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Or get a PRNG.
Yeah. I picked automobile and feed-forward neural network.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
It's not. The papers are all maths.
Who doesn't love maths, right?
And there is no mention of big data in any of the papers, so I'm going to bullshit the hell out of them.
Well, I mean, it's not bullshitting because, like, if you're doing a neural network, you would need big data to...
But it's not like they're being like, here's the big V's, here's the volume, here's the velocity, here's the variety.
Yeah, so I suppose you just have to adapt it to meet the definition.
Basically. I'm just going to read 15 papers and then bullshit.
That's why I'm saying it's, like, not really bullshitting if you can see the application between both and you can quote it. So, like, it'd be bullshitting if you didn't have, like, the sources to back you up.
Sure, yeah.
So, as I said, just a PRNG for me, and if keep on re-rolling if I hate the sound of it.
So I do have some dice around here somewhere.
Oh no! PRNGs are much more efficient because then I can just be like, no, next one, no, next one.
But give me 1 sec, I'll find them.
I'm gonna like pull out the sick dice. Not that you can hear me.
Okay, so we got this one, which is like 20 or something, 20 d6s, and that was from when I was playing. What the fuck? What is that? The Cyberpunk D&D? What am I think?
I don't know.
What the fuck's it called? I'm blanking on the name. I'm gonna find.
That's all right.
Punk D&D. Someone's gonna tell me what it is, and then complain that I compared it to D&D.
If they're complaining about you comparing it to D&D, are you thinking Warhammer?
No, I haven't played Warhammer before. What the fuck's the game? Let's just look up tabletop RPG, see if we can find it. Tabletop RPG. And the best tabletop RPGs you can buy right now. Will I find it? That is the question. Probably not. No, I didn't find it. Okay. I don't remember. I'm going to think of it afterwards. Anyway, the rest of my dice. The rest of the dice are from when I played D&D.
Sam just actually popped up right behind my head. Shiny.
This is one of the one from what's this set called? It is called Black with Red.
I actually really like dice, so they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
some of them are pretty shiny.
This was one of my favorite sets from back when I.
You're ditching me, Sam. You're ditching me. Huh? Oh, I was gonna go and get some food shortly, so after this.
This one here, yeah. Basically, this was my cool set that I liked, and then when it started to piss me off because I was rolling badly with it, I switched to a different set. Here's my royal purple set.
It's not here. So.
This one's sort of translucent. Probably can't see it too well.
I can see it pretty well.
No, I
mean, your resolution's pretty good because of the joys of uni internet. So, yep.
D20.
Hey, Brody.
Yo.
Want to get dinner with us later?
Sure. Maybe.
Sure. Maybe.
Where are you going?
I don't know. But just Sam.
Okay.
I'm being the messenger for Sam. So, because of AirPods, no one can actually hear you.
And then my last set. These I bought. These are my favorite ones because they look ugly as hell.
I want to see the ugly dice. The more uggo the dice. That is some uggo dice.
I'll turn the brightness way down. And
I'm all for uggo dice.
They're green and yellow. That is way too bright.
Green's actually my favorite color. Would you believe? But...
I'm turning the brightness up instead of down. I don't know what I'm doing. I
don't know what you're doing either.
There's no. I don't have a there we go. There you can see it properly. Look at this thing.
Actually, that looks kind of pretty. I like them.
It does, but it's also ugly as hell. And this was my
but
set.
It's also pretty, but also ugly.
Yeah, these I like these ones when I was rolling real badly. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna roll whatever. I used to be real big into D&D, and then I got a job, and then I stopped playing D&D.
So D&D is counterintuitive to job.
Pretty much. Well, I was working.
This coffee is definitely cold, but I also need the caffeine, so I'm like.
I was working nights at the time, and my D&D session was at night, so sort of didn't work together.
Well, yeah, not having time is counterintuitive to playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't play D&D very much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, it was kind of a bit hard to wrangle the time even for this podcast, so...
Well, yeah, I was honestly expecting you to not show up. I was getting ready to do a solo episode.
No, don't ditch me.
Well, you're the one who was going to ditch me. That's the thing.
This is much more fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like the I do like the guest episodes.
You get to have spicy conversation with me. I always like our spicy conversations.
It's not that spicy. Fairly tame.
Sometimes, yeah, this one was tame, but some of our other conversations are spicy.
I was considering when you would when we were starting the episode to just play the USSR theme.
Oh, you know what? I actually I wanted to actually have that cued, in my my snap camera, but her sync snap camera was broken. Oh. Missed opportunity, am I right?
It's a missed opportunity. Maybe you can do it next time.
Next time, or when Big Sur's released. So
when it works.
Once. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a long time. Isn't it supposed to come out in a few months? Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out.
I fucking know. You're the Mac guy.
2 months. 2 months. I think Apple said.
When does Big Sur come out? When does?
Yeah, they say a season. So it's.
Yes, 2020. Thank you. Very useful.
That is helpful. Thank you, Google. I'm presuming Google.
Yes. Yeah. I use Google when I'm trying to find things. I use DuckDuckGo when I care about my privacy.
Oh, what about Bing though?
Well, I'm using DuckDuckGo, so it is Bing.
But what about Bing though? Like, what about the real Bing where you get Bing rewards and you can get that $5 gift card?
Bing rewards, is that a thing?
Yeah, it actually is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I actually have like so many points on there because I just like decide to use Microsoft Edge when I'm using Windows. Because I'm like, I'm using Microsoft stuff, I might as well. They already have my data. What's the point?
Wait, what the hell is this? People also search for compatible OS. What does that mean? What are you telling me, Google? Operating system software / computer compatibility. El Capitan, Mavericks, OS X Lion, Windows Server 2012, CentOS, Big Sur. What the fuck?
I'm so confused. I'm gonna have to actually see this. Like,
I don't know what this list is. Oh, WatchOS, MS-DOS, and also WatchOS again.
MS-DOS?
I don't know what this list is. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Oh, you sent me the cursed link.
Oh, that's fucking long. That'll take you to...
Oh, is Google okay?
I don't know why they're associating this together. I don't know what this list is supposed to be.
It's called when automated data scraping goes wrong.
I guess so.
They've even got WatchOS. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
What does MS-DOS and WatchOS have to do with each other?
Zero. Like, they don't have anything in common. Like, they literally have nothing in common. One of them's a Unix-based operating system worn on your wrist, and one of them is a DOS.
Oh, there are some people who are going to get real annoyed about that one. There's a couple of people in... There's lots of people in the Linux sphere who like to say things and don't think them through a lot. One of the bigger guys recently said that macOS isn't a Unix-based operating system.
Yeah, it is.
Which is objectively true.
I mean, it's a Unix-based operating system combined with a microkernel.
It's far removed from Unix, but it's definitely a Unix-based operating system.
If you look at the GNU source code, actually, it is literally a version of FreeBSD without any changes. Like, it's FreeBSD and Carnegie Mellon Mark and some interop between the two.
Okay. Maybe I was wrong about that then.
It's still classified as Unix-like because Mark is actually what runs the applications, but most of the kernel and most of the operations that run in it run like a BSD.
Sure.
And BSD is definitely Unix. So like it's questionable that it's Unix. It's not pure Unix.
Sure.
It is still Unix-like.
Sure.
But it is as close to a Unix operating system that you'll see on mainstream desktops, like typically. Apart from running BSD proper.
Well, except for
then that's
WSL
questionable as well. Pardon?
Except for WSL.
WSL doesn't run Unix. It runs a Unix-like, remember, Linux is not Unix.
Well, sure.
And like Torvalds even says, Linux is not Unix, nor is Minix. It's just, well, I mean, it's pretty rare to see a distribution of Unix nowadays anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Solaris is technically Unix, I'm pretty sure. But it's also Solaris, so...
Well, we're getting close to 3 hours at this point.
Oh, yeah, we should probably end this soon.
Well, especially if Sam wants to go get dinner at some point.
Yeah, no, we can let him starve.
Well, I don't know where he's going.
I don't know either, but as I said, he needs to suffer for his sins.
I guess
many sins.
Do you have Sam's number?
I think I do, yeah.
Do you want to put it on loudspeaker and just call him right now, ask him where we're going for dinner?
Oh shit, maybe I should, shouldn't I?
That'd be a fun way to end off the show.
Yeah, it'd be good. Also, What's your cryptocurrency of the week? I'm kidding. But like actual.
I don't know. I've been putting a lot of money into BitTorrent. Wouldn't recommend it, but that's good for dividends. Not for holding as gains.
So you.
I stake in DLive.
Huh. Nice.
Yes.
All right, I got. I'll try to cool down. Oh, also.
Yes.
I hear. Hold on. What was your first Linux distro again? Forgotten.
Arch.
But what distribution?
I don't know what you said.
Ha 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 ha! I got him now. I'm kidding. Like what year?
Oh, like last year.
Yay! No, mine was Ubuntu 8.04.
Well, I've used older versions of Ubuntu before, but I haven't really daily drive them.
Oh, I tried to for a while, but it was 8.04, and then when I got sick of it because it was a bit of a buggy mess, because it was 8.04, and that was like the third distribution of Ubuntu, I think. No. They did the 6.10 thing, so maybe the fifth or sixth. And mind you, canonical shit, but for different reasons. It was chaotic. Oh, and then I ended up destroying Grub, so that was fun.
That's a story for another time.
So, yeah, it is. Well, we'll talk about recovering Grub with pain and suffering. Grub is great.
Grub is fun.
It's the best thing ever.
Wonder if
let's get Sam on the phone.
Yeah, we'll see if he answers.
Let's see. I'll try not to dox him by accident. I'm kidding. I won't dox him, but I dox him.
Will he answer the phone? That is the question. Oh.
Can you hear?
Yep. All good.
Hello. Can you hear?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So, what's for dinner?
Hotel place.
The hotel place.
Hotel place.
Oh, so Mawson Lake's hotel?
Pick up the snitties.
All right, that one.
We haven't gone out. We're just at AGPU, or about to be at AGPU.
All right.
Are you on with Brody still?
Yeah.
They're telling he's on the podcast right now.
You're on the podcast. You're on the podcast, dude. Yay! We got him. Yeah, you know the place, right, dude? Oh, that's to you, Brady.
Oh, where are we going? Mawson Lake's Hotel?
The hotel.
Oh, the one across the road from the uni?
Yeah. That one.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, obviously you do.
Yeah.
Not that like my AirPods are actually like getting the sound across.
No, it sounds like arse.
Yeah, it does. Because it's like it's trying to block out things which like aren't my voice. It doesn't work too good. Anyway, good talking to you, Sam. Bye.
Okay, we'll wrap the show up there. Do you have any creators out there that you want to give a shout out to? Anyone on YouTube you're watching right now who deserves a bit more attention?
Just Connor's YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, Connor definitely deserves attention.
He always needs more attention.
He'll be on next week.
Also, follow my GitHub. I need friends.
Yeah, there'll be a link
also,
to.
I have a
Josh's
also
GitHub
have a
down
Twitter,
below.
but like you shouldn't follow my Twitter, and it's definitely got the same username as my GitHub profile. But you shouldn't follow it because it's where I post my political hackery, and try to avoid responding to people who subtweet me for saying I did do fuck shit apparently. But I'm a saint. What are you talking about? I've never done bad things in my life.
None at all.
No, nothing. I definitely never admitted to anything in big data.
No. Oh, Lord.
I plead the fifth.
So, as for me, I would say, I mentioned his channel earlier, but we'll mention it again because he's an awesome dude and I need to bring him back on the show. And his name is really hard to find content of because it's also the name of a boxer, apparently.
Isn't it Kozhan YT?
Oh, no, I was talking about the guy I'm going to shout out.
Oh, which one?
Donald Fury. Go check his videos out. They're actually really good. Right. He does, he doesn't just do the Go stuff, he also does some stuff on, like, he does a lot of streaming, so he'll play a lot of retro games that he's got set up on his RetroPie.
RetroPie is great.
Or RetroArch, whatever it's called. Yeah, RetroArch is what he's running.
Well, I mean, RetroPie is like the Raspberry Pi like distro for it, isn't it?
Yeah. Sure? But I think he's running RetroArch on it. Anyway, I think that is pretty much everything for this podcast. Actually, do you have any? You said go to your GitHub. Do you have anything else that you?
I suppose like my Twitter, but I really don't want you to follow that. So
okay. I won't leave a link to his Twitter, but if you find it, go follow it.
It's literally like you'll find it if you look for it. But
that's fair. So
I mostly actually I want to shout out one Twitter, which is my favorite Twitter, though they don't need any shout outs.
Yes.
Let me quickly pull it up. It is like, here we go. Sorry, I just got to get a link though.
That's so good, man.
There we go. Here we go.
Computer facts. This rings a bell.
It is just all
1D question mark.
You gotta know your hubs. You gotta know your hubs. Git, grub, and I'll let you finish the rest.
Where the release candidate mail's at, where the LTS mail's at. The fuck am I reading? Alright then. Go check out this Twitter account as well, I guess. So
alpha software is unstable, broken, full of bugs, and needs more work before it's ready for the real world. Probably always true of anyone calling themselves an alpha male.
Alright then. We'll end it like that.
Now does that provide context to that joke? Release candidate males and LTS males?
I guess so. Yeah. So I think unless you got anything else you wanna shout out? No, that's all? Good to end off?
No, that's it. I had fun. I had a fun time. Thanks.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun as well, man. So before,
if you ever want me to come back on,
you're welcome to come back on whenever, when we can line some stuff up, which isn't going to happen anytime soon.
Chaos.
So
yeah, I know.
Are we ending it? Okay, can I do my sign off, or are you have more to say?
Do you sign off?
Okay,
do you sign off. Just ignore me.
Before we go, I want to thank my supporters. So a special thank you to Joachim, Corbinian, Andrew Craig, Nathan Montazar, Joseph Pittity, Road, Tony Donald, Marek, Mikkel, Sprien, Thais, and Zilva. If you want to go support my work, there'll be some links down below to my Subscribe Star, Patreon, and all of that sort of stuff. There is also a coin tree that has extra links as well, like my Amazon links and things like that, if you want to buy things and support my work through that way. Also, go check out my main channel. That is just called Brody Robertson. I upload Linux nonsense, but you probably know that because most of my viewers come from that channel. That is available on YouTube, Library, and other platforms as well. It's on BitChute as well, if you want to watch on BitChute, but that's only in 480p, so I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to go watch this as a video version, you're watching the audio version, it's available on Library and YouTube, and the audio version is available literally anywhere you can listen to an audio podcast. So I think that will be pretty much everything for us. Do you have any final words, Josh?
Well, keep up the good work with your Linux channel, dude. And also, it is really hard to tell when people are speaking on Discord.
What do you mean?
We kept on clashing into each other because of the mild delay.
Mm-hmm.
Great fun.
Yeah, one day I might have a studio, but I also might just move out into the middle of fucking nowhere. So I don't know.
Wherever you can afford land.
I'll afford land wherever I need to afford land. I want to
soon. Yeah.
I'll get my boomer farm in the middle of the country.
You're gonna be a. Oh, is that actually a goal in life?
I do want to grow my own food. Oh, he's going.
That sounds cool.
Where's he going?
It's Corey. It's Corey.
It's. Look who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's everyone's here. Let them know I'll be down there in like 15 minutes.
Cool.
So that is the end of the podcast. I will play out the outro.
I'm ready for this.
The porn music, gotta love it.
The only option is porn music.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been a fun 3 hours. Sam is eating something in the background by the looks of it. And I think we'll end it there. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.